them to, if you want them to also have the space to go and understand these things, I feel there's a balance to everything.
Exactly.
Long story
And
short.
yeah, that point where you just make now. I remember I was saying I just do the same thing with to Larry when I said if I wanted to do it differently, like, the whole going to church early, right? I would, as a pastor, I would go to church with my wife and we'll go, go about our business and leave my kids at home because I know kids and let the kids be kids, right? They don't have to get out that early in the morning, right? And you can arrange later in the day for one of the maybe members in the church, or even you yourself can come back home and pick them and go to church. Now you're giving them enough time to probably do personal devotion, get eat one or two things. You're giving them their time. You understand? And that time is very important for them because they are just kids. Like let them live their own lives. Let them have a life of their own. Let them. Oh, you've exposed them to this Christianity thing. You pray for them. Hope that they choose in that direction. Give them opportunity to create space for them to also personally find this space for themselves. You understand? But if you're just trying to wheel them all around, you're going for one meeting, you carry them. There's something early in the morning, you carry them. Like it's just frustrating for the child. I'm speaking for as someone that was very frustrated by that life where you had to wake up very early in the morning. And as a kid, I will not go to bed in time. Obviously, that's another thing. So you don't expect that I'll be waking up by 5 a.m. in the morning to follow you down to somewhere. It's frustrating. Like, I'll be thinking of, oh, like, I see my fellow colleagues coming to, like, my fellow guys, like, age group, coming to church at a particular time. Don't you think that I'll feel some type of way as a child? Do you understand? So, like, I just feel like you said to your point, like, giving the child space to be themselves and finding God for themselves too. Because when you leave them at home for like, you've exposed them enough to Christianity, right? Now give them opportunity to also they can do devotion, they can, whatever it is, they can do quick Bible study for themselves. You give them opportunity to get to know this God by themselves too. So I feel like, yeah, to that point, it makes, that space, creating that space is so
Let me
important
ask
for
you
them.
guys one question to your point. So, Yinka, how then do we now deal with external standards? Like, I understand letting children be children. External standards, like, especially for ministers' kids now, you get things like people, there's a certain way, like, people expect ministers' children to be as if they are the ministers themselves. Even your parents trying to make an example to even their own children, and they're like, can't you see this person? Can't you see this pastor's child? Can't you? And then the minister's kid now feel like anytime they are around you, maybe around church, there's this persona that they have to pretend that they are because they don't want you to look at them as something else. And that's why you now get case of people that you know they are minister kids, and then when you people see them at home in church, they are one way, and then maybe you even attend the same school, and when you see them in school, you are wondering how is this person this same person just because from right from when they were young, somebody has already placed them on one pedestal that they can now bring them down from.
Hmm. But I guess
Uh,
like it's the, yeah, go on.
no, go on, go on.
No, continue, continue.
Um, so I want to be sure I got your question. So your question is more about what, how do you manage the expectations of
Yeah, is that like
people
external standards or something like that that people
against
put?
the children of ministers?
Yeah, yeah,
Or let's
something like
even bring
that.
it
Yeah.
home. Like if you bring it home, say it doesn't have to be necessarily ministers. It can also be like say for example, like obviously all of us here are trying on that journey to present to be building our faith, right? Let's say now we built our faith to that point where we're now very like we're very serious about it. We're intentional. We're going to church. We're doing all the right things, and then we give birth. We become fathers. How do we in that position? Now that Larry is asking that question, like, how do we now, you know,
Because
um,
like there's a because of the moral standard that you have. So people that know that you have this moral standard, or even like
mhm,
people that just know the kind of way you behave, they expect your
yeah,
kids to behave like in that fashion or in that manner. So how do you deal
yeah.
with external standards from people, like what people expect? How do you let them understand that see these people, they are kids, they can be like this because sometimes it affects the child. Imagine being a child and then you're in church, you're hearing another parent telling their own kids that can't you see this child? See how he's behaving, he's behaving like his father, he's behaving this one. So that
Mm.
because you heard that, you now feel that anytime you see this person, you have to behave in a type of way so that they don't see you as anything less than what they've seen you before. Do you understand? It now leads to people having one kind of behavior like in the church, and then when they are, you can even go to school with somebody, and then when you see them at home back in church, they're this person, but then in school they are like a different person. That was just because they have to
Mm.
live up to one supposed standard that somebody has set no somewhere that doesn't even exist, but because they just feel like this is what they have to live up to. So how do you, for kids, how do you like just take away that external standard for them and let them know that this is still your life at the end of the day?
So I think personally, I strongly believe in mirroring possibilities. Um, Showing your children what Christianity is based off the way you live your day to day.
Mm,
And I would echo it, I said it before. All the standards we're talking about, when you ask a lot of PK kids, for example, most of the issues they had with this standard was not just people comparing them, but also how they saw their parents. It's kind of like if you see the pastor, for example, as a good person on Sunday, then an abusive man from Monday to Saturday, there's a
mm,
problem.
mm, mm,
Yes. So it's kind of like ensuring your image of Christ that your children are seeing is in accordance to the Bible. And this is not to take away from the flaw of man. Yes. But it's more about I am flawed. When my children catch me in a flaw, I'm not putting my opinion over their head. I'm not saying because I'm your father, that is why I can lie. Do you understand? I'm explaining, oh, yes, what daddy just did is wrong. I shouldn't be lying to you. Um, I'm expected to do better. I am sorry for lying to you. You just taught the kid something. Yes, taking being accountable. But what you see sometimes is that would lie and would find a way to like spiritualize it instead of just coming clean. Your
mm,
children would accept it for the longest time until they are smart enough to understand that this man is just flawed and he keeps hiding behind Christianity. Um, Moving it a bit further, the way we work, the way we talk, the way we act in the house, children watch our every move. Yes. So if you want a child that reads book, for example, they'll tell you if you want a child that reads book, pick up a book and read. Let your children see you read. Before you know it, they'll start to come to you and ask you, Daddy, when would you get me my own book? Mommy, when did you get my own book? I also want
So
to read.
basically, like acting through um practical, you acting those things that you want to see in your kids rather than forcing them verbally to do it.
Yes, yes, because children mimic their parents a lot. Yes. And when it comes to deeper thing in terms of like their work with God, if you are the man of God that can pray for 10 hours every day, forcing your kids to just all of a sudden pray 10 hours is not the way to go. Because for you, it probably took you time. Yes, you grew in your faith journey with God. So instead of like just forcing your children to like just pray 9 hours, 10 hours, maybe start with short prayers with your kid. You understand? Let them,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that is praying. You want to also pray. Let them also have like their own short prayer and go. Don't
Mm-hmm.
force them to do that 9 hours with you. Let them build, let them grow as they are growing, let them build. Um, that's more beneficial to them than for you to create an environment where your children feel they have to be good for you to look good. Then it becomes a
Mm.
problem.
Hmm.
I'm intentionally not talking
Real
so much
talk, real
about
talk.
the external factors, like what people comparing you and all that. Sometimes you can't, people would compare, church members will compare. It is your responsibility as a parent in every sense of it. It's your responsibility as a parent to guard your children. When they come to you with all this comparison, shut it down.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, Mr. A, I was telling your child that as the pastor, child, blah, blah, you shouldn't do that. Everybody,
Hmm.
please, please, ma, I understand you're trying to correct this child, but is also a child. Yes, if you're corrected, don't because don't bring up that whole conversation of like because it should be
Hmm.
your child is not supposed to be the image of possibilities for other children in the
Other
Sunday school.
kids.
It was not they were not the ones that were called to ministry.
Exactly, exactly.
That
Hmm.
does not mean the way you are leading your house, the way you are leading your home would not affect their character, yes. And they'll probably all these things we're talking about. If we're doing it right, yes, your children will probably exhibit you're a good man, yes. Your children will probably exhibit the goodness that they can see you exhibit. So, oh, my father is kind to people. I also want to be kind to people. You understand? They'll see all those signs through your children. So it's not like we are saying, oh, raise bad children. Yeah, that's not what we are trying to agree on. What we're saying is that reduce the pressure. Don't let Christianity be that weight on the chest of your child that they can see everything wrong with you. They can see all your shortcomings, but they never see how Christianity is helping you through all those shortcomings. They never see how you are trying to be a better father. They
Hmm.
never see how God calls you to order, even in the way you like run your family.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think we've done justice to this part of this end.
Let's
There's
continue the video.
Yeah, let's continue.
hmm
how to be a moral person or a good citizen or be accountable or so what do you think the balance is if there's a parent looking at this right now that's like, but they do have to obey me, but I hope they don't want to
For
disappoint
sure.
me, but at the same time I don't want to create this idea that they're not doing it at all for the Lord or because they think it's good to be this kind of a person. And again, outside of the church bubble, just somebody who's like, no, this is what it is to be a good person
hmm
and I want them to be a good person.
Yeah.
How do they do that without robbing from the child the ability to say, I'm doing this because I think this is
Yeah.
what a good person is, not just because that's what my mama said.
Oh, I podcast more real quick. It pulls to so you guys.
Is saying it's okay to mess up. I think that's a great question. I think the balance is saying it's okay to mess up. Like making room for mistakes, like having that conversation. I think in hindsight, I'm going,
I think that's what Titan also mentioned just now, like allowing them to just grow, and also being okay with letting them know your shortcomings, um like how you maybe you made a mistake or something, so it doesn't feel like, oh, this Christian thing is all perfect. There's no room for error or anything like that, you get, because it can be very, very, can pass the wrong message to kids, like growing in the faith. So yeah, I agree with what she's saying there for sure.
I don't think we talked enough, right? Like, I don't think I expressed the pressure I was feeling. Because I think if I had of, they would have been like, relax, like take a breath. Like, it's okay to like be a normal kid, right? And so I think on both ends, being able to communicate how the transitions or the responsibilities are feeling, right? Because I think so much of it was in my head. It was like, I just don't want to mess up because this is who I'm supposed to be, right? And so I think like making space for saying like, if you mess up, I don't love you any less.
Yeah.
And I learned that through messing up.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think like
Mm.
creating that
Mm.
space to say, like, you are not going to be perfect and you are not going to get it right. Yes, I have this expectation, but if you don't meet it, I still love you the same.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like that pressure, because I think even that would be why I would go to school and be one way and not necessarily feel comfortable enough to say, hey, I'm also navigating these things. Like, most of the things I did in college, my parents are finding out in my sermons. Like,
and that's hilarious.
Like,
that's,
oh, you did what?
Girl, what happened now? They probably reading your book right now, like, no, she didn't.
And so it's like, it's like creating that space that I think that relieves the pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I wanna live up to that standard, because I know if I don't, it doesn't change how they love or see me.
Yeah. That's so interesting, because, there are some things, I'm 51 years old. There's some things about me. My mom's in heaven now, but my dad still doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I don't know what the context would be, even that I would bring it up or say it or why. But I can understand what you're saying, where you just are like, huh. I realize there's
some things you don't know.
I doubt that, seriously, because you tell me everything.
I think that she mentioned one very important, like, parenting this thing there, where, like, just reassuring, giving, like, the child reassurance, like, of whether they fail or they succeed at something. Like, just letting the child feel like, you know what, good or bad, we still love you, that kind of thing. And that, I feel like that alone, say, would get the child to even be interested in the faith more, because it's like, okay, I don't have to put up a show when I'm in school or versus when I'm at home. I can be myself, but also understand that, like, I have a source of truth. But, like, even if I fall short of that source of truth, I know that I'm still loved at home. Like, they still love where I'm coming from, and not just the type of love that they show it just with the actions of paying my fees or, like, doing all these things, but, like, they tell me, they use, like, words of affirmation. They use, like, physical touch. They make me know that, oh yeah, they really, really love me and they accept me here, that kind of thing. So the faith journey just becomes easier for that kind of child. Like, it gets less harder for a child to be subscribed to it, is what I would say.
Okay.
I will say.
Okay.
I will say.
Think so.
One of the things we tried to do. I don't know if we did it perfectly, or I know we didn't do it perfectly. I'm sure you will.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I believe you will.
Yeah. But I always tried to keep that margin in there where, like, we have expectations of you guys just because we actually believe the Bible. We actually think that honoring God matters. We've got to hold you guys to a standard, and for our household, even if we weren't Christians. For me and my house, we're not doing this. We're not living raggedy like this. We're just going to be good people. But I remember when you guys would be struggling with stuff related to girls. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're watching what they're looking at online. Mm-hmm. I could see some fitness lady is working out and she barely has on any clothes. And, I could see that they're like, wow, this is amazing.
Oh my God.
And I remember as I was watching, like, you watching the things.
Yeah.
And I would try to start that conversation with y'all with, first of all, let me say, you're supposed to be attracted to girls. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact your body is responding like that and you feel that way and you're kind of having all this blah, 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 blah. Let me just tell you, bravo, wonderful. that is normal. That's normal. And that's how God wired you to feel all of that.
Yeah.
Now that you feel that, we got to talk about what was a responsible way to handle it. But my goal in having those kind of conversations with y'all was to hopefully put in that margin she's describing, where you create a space where you're like, look, it is what it is. Yeah. There's regular biology here, regular struggles here. And I hope that as parents, even as you guys come into parenthood at whatever phase in your life, you remember that, because it is something when your kid does a thing or acts away or whatever, and your first feeling is that choice is a reflection of your parenting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of have to remove yourself out of it and go, this is not about me.
Mm-hmm. Somebody who said that? Somebody said that. So, like, was he Uche or Titan?
No.
Somebody said, like, removing yourself from the whatever your kids become, that kind of thing, like something along those lines.
Oh, yinka.
Yeah, because she's saying the same thing now, like how that removing ourselves from, like, that's down. So, okay, my child does this doesn't mean that, oh, like, I'm a bad parent or something. It's just like their own decision, that kind of thing. But it's very difficult to do, though. Very difficult. I can imagine. Mm-hmm.
About Adam.
It's about Adam. Come on, Adam.
Come on, Adam.
And it's about the story God's writing with their life. So give them margin to be human. But it is hard when you're the parent. You're like,
believe it.
wait a minute,
Yeah.
what we doing? You know,
For sure.
I can empathize a little bit just because I was kind of the same way. I don't know if because I think my parents actually did a pretty good job of like not making me feel like I have to do anything ministry. I never felt like that. I always
Yeah.
want to be a hooper, pro hooper. I was
Yeah, for context, this guy is the son of this lady that's sitting right beside him. So that's his mom beside him.
good on that. But I still went to college for different reasons for like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. It was like different reasons to not being ministry. But now that I've like externally like put out there that I communicate God's word and all this stuff in the facets that I do, whether it be podcasting on Instagram or go, conferences or events or whatever. There is a big now expectation and pressures, not even just from my family sometimes a little bit, but from everybody else about like pastor. And I'm like, no, like I don't like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have the desire to be a pastor in any way right now. I'm not saying God can't form that. All I'm saying is I feel like I tried to delight in the Lord and he hasn't formed the desire yet. So I'm gonna be good with what I got.
That's good.
Right. And joking about it, that's one thing. That's funny.
Yeah.
But like there'd be real people that be out there talking about you gonna be a pastor. Stop telling yourself. I'm like, be quiet.
I know.
Anyways, but my question is like, okay, so then how did you deal with that? Because now clearly you're in ministry. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like,
it happened.
Because I'm like, uh-oh, wait a minute. So, because I was the same way. I was like, I'm good on the ministry, boy. I don't want to be like my mom or my grandfather in any way. But now I communicate God's word in a way that is very similar to both of them. So that's why I'm like, okay, how did you deal with that shift? And I guess we might be jumping a little bit, but how did you deal with that shift in what you thought you were going to do versus kind of what God's leading you, how you felt during it, all that stuff?
Yeah. I think I'm still navigating shit. That's why even I hear you talking, I'm like, yeah, that's the same stuff I was saying. Like, no, I would never do that. I think I don't think I knew what it was until I was in it. Like it just starts to unfold and then you go like,
oh,
how did I get here? Like I did not know.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I would have been able to spot it, I would have been like, absolutely not going the other way.
That is so funny.
So I do think it's that. I think the other thing is I started to realize that I wasn't fulfilled internally until I started surrendering to what the Lord was asking me to do. So I did move to California to work in entertainment. I did get to do that. I got to live out a lot of my dreams I was chasing per se. And they still were not. It was like, okay, that's cool. It wasn't until the first time I preached the gospel that I was like, I think, this aligns with like what I was created to do. And there's a difference in like enjoying the thing I was pursuing, right? And it's like, okay, I think I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, for sure.
And things just keep unfolding.
Yeah.
And so I think what I've learned is that I'm like, the rest or the peace is in the just following what the Lord wants me to do, however it unfolds. Yeah. And I think I'm still going, I don't want to be a pastor. Just call me Brenda,
all the time. Don't call me preacher.
Right? And so I think and part of that is because I also don't want people to feel like the only way they can follow the Lord is if they have a title. That's why
Didn't I just talk? I feel like I just
Plug that. But I was going to ask you something. Let me start with Larry, that guy. What does what does surrender like when she said like surrendering, to God and stuff? Like how has the experience been for you?
I want to start with the last thing that the guy just said. That you don't need a title before you can.
Yeah.
I've known for the longest that I don't want to be a pastor. Like that has been my for a very, very long time. I've always wanted to do any other thing, but you see that becoming a pastor, becoming a preacher, I've not drifted into it. And I don't. There was one statement that my dad made when I was younger. I can't remember what the context is. I'm sure himself will probably not remember this statement. But we're doing something and we're saying something like the son of a pastor is always a pastor. And I remember laughing that no, no, I think he said the first son of a pastor is always a pastor, something like that. And I remember and I and I remember laughing and telling myself specifically that no, so basically a surrender to me is more of like your personal journey with Christ. I understand is surrendering and trying to. I don't think anybody can be perfect, but so
Mm,
surrender to me is not you trying to live a perfect life. I just
mm,
think is like that thing me and you were saying when we started that you have just looked at this life as okay, I've really tried a lot of things, I've tried doing it myself.
yeah.
So why don't I
Mm,
just give this whole burden of how this everything will work and just give it to this person, surrender it to this
mm,
person, and just see how that
mm.
takes me instead of me just trying to struggle and
Do
keep doing
everything.
it. So basically,
Mm.
yeah, that's what it's meant to be.
Yeah, I say the same thing to myself. Like it's uh I mean it was it's I feel like it was I don't know if it's difficult generally for people or even guys because usually as a guy man you just want to like wing, you know, just do just the rugged everything, the rugged life, that kind of thing. But I just got to a point where I was like, I'm just tired of like that body and carrying that body and thinking through life by myself, Even though yeah, now I see that like a partnership, right? It's not more this thing, I just have to think it through myself, figure out the strategies involved in this thing, but now it's like, okay, I have somebody that I can go to and say, oh ma, this is what's going on in this thing.
Mm,
What are you telling me to do? Like, I read the word, I'm like, if there's any lesson that you have for me as regards this thing, show me. If there's any way you want me to move, show me and then like, help me move in that direction, that kind of thing. So just having like that co-partnered, relationship it feels like I can breathe, like I can breathe a little lighter now. That's just how it feels like. But it also comes with, I found that, man, it's so difficult because not like it's challenging in the aspect of like obedience, like being able to like not do what you would probably normally do, but do it like just when there's just a way, like there's just something like a sense that you have of certain things that you know that this is not what God is having me do right now. Yeah, it's just me that just wants to do it by myself. Nobody see, and there's that dance, with obeying and disobeying and obeying and disobeying, which is very challenging to do because there's so many things that you have to like you will give up and it's just it's something now I'm dealing with right now, like having to do exactly what is the best in that situation because I know like he always has like the best, in mind. But sometimes I want to just do my own way, that kind of thing. And so that dance is what I'm, you know, juggling right now between obeying and disobeying, that kind of thing. But Uchi, for you, like how has it been for you? Like what does surrender look like for you? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me just went to
Yeah.
drop get some water. Yeah, so like for me, honestly, surrendering is just me giving up what I'm trying to do. Um, what I need to do in my life.
Mm,
Like what I'm trying to force myself to get through. Could be
mm,
like many things, could be many things like trying to get to a particular career level in my life, trying to, for me lately, it's been more of my future plans.
mm,
I'll give you a practical scenario. So I really wanted to like I had a review of my life. I think this was like recently. the time I traveled to
mm,
US, I was thinking through back my life and just being thankful. I have those moments sometimes just to see how far I've gone and you know
mm,
be thankful for where God has taken me. Um,
mm,
I was also remember I'm turning 29 next month. So
mm,
meaning I also thought like, yes, I'm going to 30 soon. And then there was this thought that came to my mind, like I was asking myself, what were the things I like when I was 20, 21 years old, like the things I was thinking about. One of them
mm,
was having a family at 27. I 27, 28.
mm,
And one thing I noticed was I wanted to keep to those goals so badly. Like I really
mm,
wanted to have a family at that period, and it didn't
mm,
materialize. I had some point when I
mm,
was blaming God, like, no, why
mm,
God, like this was something that I really wanted. Like, why didn't you let me have it? Like, did I? As in, so sometimes I'll just ask myself, like, was there any particular sin I did in my past that, like, that made that not materialize as to like wanting to have a family? I was like, my head was just going nuts. I could not just believe it. I not just even having a family at all. So in the
maybe
last
maybe there was
extent.
all maybe there was a broadcast message I didn't forward.
You make person don't go so for me. Oh, that was one of the things. I know the other thing I was looking back on, even the things that I thought I could achieve, the extreme goal dreams, like being on Forbes 30 under 30. I had that as a reason. So what I'm just trying to say is
Mm,
that like I just look currently now and
mm,
I see a lot of things better than they were before.
mm,
But at the same time, so I see things not being exactly as what I thought they were from before.
mm,
Like
mm,
very so it just made me to realize that like at this point I don't feel just the first things anymore.
mm.
Like even now I'm even trying to make plans. Like I like to make plans. I think I'm so obsessed with strategizing
Yeah,
on
yeah,
things that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes
for
I
sure you are.
yeah, sometimes I just overthink. I will not lie, I overthink because I'm like,
Mm,
okay, if this equation does not materialize, what is the next variable? What is the next variable? But
mm,
like I think this time in 20s, especially the later 20s in my life, like has really taught me um the depth of how things can be very different. You can apply things
mm,
very differently. Like even things that didn't materialize from me. Like I also did have lessons I learned that I don't think I would have learned if I just rushed in to either start a family at that 20 age of 27 or
mm,
um let's say even being on Forbes like I wanted, like what to do other things. Like it just made me to see the bigger parts. Like there's always something there if something doesn't materialize. And I think I started seeing the view of life like that in the last month or so. Last
mm,
month or two, it helped me to see a view of life in that way, and which made me less, anxious about the future. And being less anxious about the future means like I can surrender something to God. So it's not like I'm just mentally thinking, okay, I'm surrendering it to God. I've thought that way before. It didn't always work. I think for me, it's just more like I've already seen some things different. And when I just look at the things that helped me to shape, like learn things that I would not have otherwise learned in some other scenario, it helped me to realize that, I just give it up to God. And that's one thing I always pray every day, like whatever happens today, let your will be done. So
mm. That's very
that's
good.
that's how surrender has applied to my life.
Good,
Yeah.
good fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's good. Yeah,
Mm.
that's good.
Hmm.
Yeah. Titan.
So I'll start by saying like the word surrender can like mean different things, yes. And I think one of the issues I've seen with Christianity when it comes to like surrender is sometimes we think about the surrender in the wrong way, in the unhealthy way. we're thinking about a gun to your head, saying
Mm,
you guys
mm,
like it's kind of like the three Hebrew boys. Yes, you have to bow.
mm,
If you don't bow, we'll throw you into the furnace. You are going to burn. That's what people think about surrender sometimes. Yes, they see it as
mm,
you are in the midst of your enemies and you've just been
mm,
conquered. Yes, and
mm,
they're telling you you're waving your white flag that
mm,
I give up. But
mm,
what I've learned about Christ, what Christ wants for us now, surrender to me now is like yielding. It is
mm,
more about me as a father, for example. Let me paint a picture. Me as a father, and I'm with my
mhm,
son, and we're about to cross the road. Like
mm,
we're about to cross to the other side of the street. It is me
mhm,
saying, my son giving me his hand, yes, to direct, like to help him cross, or we're in a very crowded place, and I'm like trying to like navigate the way. Is my son giving me his hand, and I'm helping him navigate the way, pass through
mhm,
the crowd, yes. That's what I see surrender at now. It is me yielding, saying, God, because I've actually tried life on my own, yes, without God. I tried doing life on my own, and I found that like there, in no point did I have the full picture. I had all the structures, all the plans, and I never had the full picture. So it is now I've gotten to the point where it is now, Father Lord, this is me. This is who I am. This is all of me, yes. This is how great I am, how small I am, yes. And I am yielding everything unto you. So it's like surrender is me waking up every day and saying all of my crazy ideas, all of my ambitions, this is it at your feet. If you say this is not the way to go, no matter how much I want it, yes,
mm,
I've surrendered to your will. So it's kind of like you can't tell God to like take the steering wheel, yes. Then sometimes as he's driving, you're dragging the wheel with him. Like that's how accidents happen. Yes, it's kind of
mm,
like
mm,
drive and I'll just take the passenger seat. And
mm.
it is not always easy. Yes,
Yeah. Mm,
sometimes it is easier said than done.
mhm,
But
true.
personally, I find that I feel better when I remind myself, why did I even surrender in the first place? Yes,
Mm,
nobody dragged me to surrender. Nobody forced me to surrender.
mm.
I
So
surrendered
why
because
did you?
I got to a point where I saw that like I wasn't leading myself to any destination, any sensible destination.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm,
I got to I had the realization that the only way forward for me was if I actually give God all my plans, all of my will. And I
mm,
needed him to help me reorganize all of the ambitions I thought I had. And it's required me
mm,
dropping some things, me picking up some things, and me basically living in that surrender each and every day. Uh,
mm,
what does this mean? So, surrender now means I have a brilliant idea. Yes. You're checking in with God. And you're checking, is this idea, is this about me? Is it about you?
mm,
Yes. And that is why if you truly surrender, even there are certain things that you would not do again because you are no longer walking in your will. Yes. And even
mm,
when you make mistakes, yes, you understand that like the mistake came from your own part of the partnership, not the God part. So it's easier for me to now go again and say, I thought like I had it. Yes. Like my
mhm,
human flesh got the better of me. But here I am again. Lead me and I'll follow. That surrender for me is just total, total submission. to the will of God. And that's where you see some people speak about like taking a pay cut,
Mm.
taking a pay cut for like their career or like switching their career from like where they are currently working to a remote location just because God said it. On the long run,
Mm.
when people now see that the fruit of that surrender, the fruit of that you, they'll be like, oh, if I was in that case, I wish I was this person short. I'm also taking that route. But most times we
Mm-hmm.
don't. Most times we don't want to surrender. And sometimes surrender doesn't even make sense to people outside. Everybody's like, are you losing it? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? But when you surrender to God fully, yes, you are
Mm-hmm.
growing with Him. You learn to understand Him and hear Him clearly, and it would make surrendering to God easier. The other part is when you don't fully surrender to God, yes, and you pick and choose when to surrender, then you start to question yourself: Is this really me or is this God? So yeah, that's surrender. I don't want to like speak for too long, but yeah, that's just that. You did.
Yeah, mm, that makes that makes a lot of sense. I think um yeah, I love to I like listening to what you guys said because it made me feel like okay, I know I'm not mad, that kind of listen. Like some of the things that I'm experiencing and with doing this, right? Because I mean I really just got intentional about it, like but to hear like how you guys are navigating it, finding the way you're finding it is also it's inspiring to hear that because it helps to know that I'm person not just the drum and is experiencing all the things I'm experiencing like in isolation, that kind of thing.
So I'll
So,
quickly add something.
yeah.
I think it's very close to like a point Uche made. Um, One of the hardest part about surrendering, yes, is usually like yielding the outcome, like accepting the outcome of the surrender. Yes, because as humans, most times we try to control each and everything. Yes,
Right, right.
but I think
Mm,
you would find that post surrender also entails you
mm,
realizing that you can't control all of the outcome. If your will was that you wanted to be 30 under 30, and it was not God's will for you, and I'm not saying God's will for you is to be four.
Mm.
Yeah. You could be successful and not be 30 under 30. There are a lot of successful people that are not 30 under 30 years. But it is more towards, regardless of the outcome, I trust. So like I started with the old defeat thing that like being
mm-hmm.
conquered. So like people think surrender as being conquered, yes. I feel we should take surrender as a trust partnership. Like I trust the picture God is painting for my life, yes, so much that I know if I follow the path He's leading me to, at the end of it all, I'll be okay.
Mm. Yeah, and that accepting is very is the hard part. Because it can be a kind of reality that you're not bargaining for, right? So that's the part that
But then what
is
do you
hard
now
to
do when you
swallow.
are struggling with, like, if you are someone like me now, that although I think it's a normal being thing, so we always, like Inka said, always try to think we can control everything. So there are times
Mm,
where you are struggling with fully surrendering or still trying to do some things like I don't know if what I'm trying to say makes sense. In a way that
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
like
yeah,
your
yeah.
own understanding is, still looking like the right thing to do because there are some things like, for example, now let me just use this example. I was talking about people taking pay cuts.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they still see like it's worth it. So at that
Yeah.
time when they are taking the pay cuts, what do you do when you are struggling with? Is this really what God wants for
Yeah.
me, or is this what I want? Where it feels like you're struggling with surrendering at that point.
Yeah. Or you practice more practically, you mean like when the bills are piling up and then because of the consequences of their pay
Exactly.
cuts, they can't actually
Mhm.
meet up to those bills. Yeah. The is I I don't know. I guess like it's the more I guess like the more pain, like I don't know if to say pain, but like the more um like the fact that I feel like the fact that God will put you in a situation is because he feels like you have the capacity to handle it. I don't know how, but I feel like he just puts us in those kind of situations, and I feel like when we come out of those experiences, it expands us in a way such that whenever we're going through those valleys again, like another time we're going through another similar experience, we are able to like pull from that place where we we're convinced that we always come out on the other side, regardless of like what it looks like right now. So I
Mm.
just feel like it's just that confidence, going through something, coming out of it, and then facing another challenge again. It's like you're just confident that the God that did it the previous time will do it again, that kind of sense. So I guess like that's the confidence that most people grow with, you know.
Mm.
It's what I sense. Well, yeah, it's see,
Let me just add, the
mm-hmm,
Bible said, verse that said, yeah, for I think it's Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the
I
plans
know
I
the
have for
plans
you,
I have towards you.
declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope. Yes. When we look at the context of that Bible verse, we'll see that like the Israelites, yes, I think they just lost a battle, they were just conquered or something, yes. And God was
mm,
giving them that promise. Um, I think most times when we talk about surrender, we see surrender as our get out of jail free card.
mm-hmm,
Yes. We think because we have surrendered, yes, everything will be roses. But
mm,
I'm a firm believer of time and seasons happen to each and everyone.
Mm.
mm,
Uh, the difference between you and the next man is that when you have the joy of the Lord, when you have God on your side, yes, you can never be defeated. Regardless of what the outcome of life is, the promise is eternal life. The promise is salvation, and no one can take that from you. It does not mean your life can be great, but it is more of a reassurance that even if your life is bad, if things
mm,
didn't go as you planned, when you enter the air, you would have eternal life. That's one thing that cannot be taken away from you. That's one thing that each and every one of us have as a birthright because Jesus died for us. And that's what it means by the grave have been conquered. So, putting that into the question, fully understanding this, what that tells me is that
mm,
even when I go through life, because it's easy for all of us to pray about like the people that are successful in the Bible and make reference to the people that were successful in the Bible, but the Bible showed us different characters, different storylines, and it wasn't always pleasant. Yes,
Mm,
most of the disciples died horrible deaths. Yes, so if
mm-hmm.
we're talking about your walk of faith, yes, it requires sacrifices that would be painful. I don't want to say we haven't having it easy, or I don't say it is easier for us now because at least in like on this path, because there are still Christians facing persecutions, yes. So like I'll say on this path, yes, it's easier for some of us because we are not really facing persecution. The Bible that we are refusing to read, people died just to print it. People died just to like share the message. Yeah, so it's kind of like I don't say we're at a point where yes, each and every day you should want more. You should want more for your family. You should want more for your friends. You should strive for more, yes. But at the end of it all, I would not preach Christ to you as your get out of jail free card, as your the end of all your financial trouble. Yes, God is a gifter of men. God can give you riches beyond your age. But at the end of the day, the core message is that Jesus died for us. The core message is salvation. It's for our souls to be saved. And that's it.
Yeah. Mm. That's some period.
Okay.
Let's yeah. Let's see what.
Mhm. To
We on the
me,
Yeah.
same
That's
page.
why.
Keep
So
going.
so
This
I'll
is
go
great.
to like all different types of places. And they're like, "What do you want to be called?" I'm like, Brenda.
Brenda, Priscilla, yeah.
And they like, well, do you? No. I mean, but if you want to, you can. If it makes you feel better. But what I'm saying is, I'm just Brenda, and I think that's to take off the pressure because I also grew up in environments where everybody needed a title, everybody needed you to call them something, and they weren't actually doing anything. So like, it's cool for me to like respond and follow the Lord and be able to do that without a title, right? There is a calling. I had a pastor who commissioned me to do what I'm doing now. So there is like that order to it, right? But you could just call me Brenda. And I think it, for me, took the pressure off of like having to look like somebody else. Like, because when I hear pastor, I'm like, I don't got a preacher's voice. Like,
You
how I
kinda
grew
do.
up. That's crazy.
You kind of do.
I don't think so.
That's one of the first things I thought when I heard your Instagram videos. I said, "Oh, I was like, oh, she preaching for real. My bad."
He said, "Oh my God, I didn't know."
I didn't know.
Oh yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
I think this is an interesting thought, y'all. That here, all three of us are sitting. I'm listening to the two of you, and have heard so many other people y'all's age who it's almost like they spend a good portion of their life running from their roots.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm talking about people who are not in ministry. I'm talking about their parents are lawyers or all their people were in the medical field.
Yeah.
Or all their people were actors. All their people are musicians. And they just are like, I'm not doing that. But actually, they realize later, it seems to take a minute for it to occur to you, the framework that the generations have built for you. There are shoulders you can stand where you don't have to start from scratch over here for no reason. Now, if you're supposed to do something different, do it. But like I know a young man I can think of right now. His father is incredibly musical. His parents are incredibly musical. They have had great success in the music industry. And he is clearly a prodigy. He's clearly a prodigy. I mean, clearly a prodigy. And I'm like, now you can run from that if you want to. Or you can realize that Lord has entrusted you with specific gifts and he's planted you in a family that has already built relational integrity in this industry and take advantage of it. I don't mean that in a negative way.
No.
Honor the fact that there have been roots run deep for you. Why are you going to spend years running way over here instead of just connecting the dots? So if there is a younger person, because I went through the same thing when I was in y'all's phases too, and to be clear, y'all are in different phases. You're 21, you're in your mid 30s, I believe. But it's the same principle that both of you can speak to someone who is younger right now. And man, their main reason for not doing what their parents do is just because their parents do it, or just because their auntie and uncles, and whether it's ministry or I don't want to go in the medical field, and they realize that they're just trying to be different. What would you say to get them maybe over that hump quicker? Like, are you wired for this? Do you have any sort of passion or interest or unique ability in that area? And you realize, actually, I kind of can act, or I kind of am musical, and my parents have all these connections that I'm running from.
Yeah.
What would you say to that young person that's actually running unnecessarily?
So it's actually funny because I was kind of talking about something similar. I was with my
Wait, first of all, is anybody running here? Oh, Mo, no,
Run
I mean,
is
is there, is there anybody that's running from something here? Mo, no. I feel like one or two of us are sure, but until they confess by themselves, let's
Me,
just keep
I
it.
just know that I don't want to be a pastor. Can change the future, whether it's running or whether it's deflecting or whether it's anything. I feel so strongly about it, and I felt so strongly about it for a long time.
Wait, Pastor, what if you see it
Oh,
in your dream, call Larry?
What did you say?
What if you see it in your dream
Ah,
and an angel tells you that you should become a
right
pastor?
now I should not see it in my dream.
For me, right? To be honest, I was saying the same thing for a long time. I would not lie to you, Larry, but what I would say is that, like, God, like I know that God has the best plan for me. That one
Yeah.
I know. So my own is, I've identified certain things that I don't like in this industry. You see, there's certain things that I personally just don't like. And so if God is going to put me in that kind of position to do that, honestly, I'm changing all of those things. And I'm not, like, there's no, I know they negotiate all those things, because they just certain things that I just can't. Like, I really just can't. And one of the major ones is, I feel like the church should become a place where, like, it's more of a many to many relationship than a one to many. Like, I don't like that concept of like one person being on the podium. And so for me, if I was going to change anything, I'll change that for sure, because I found that the fellowship together is, you come to church, you're around people, you're around like, you guys are having, like, obviously there'll be some sort of like um supervision over that, like the probably elders in the midst or whatever. But I found that to be very, very effective for me personally, because that was actually how my own redemption story started. Like, it wasn't somebody preaching at me or whatever. Like, it was as Uche. It was a group that we're part of. It wasn't even a Christian group, but obviously the church provided that space. But that was where, like, it all started to make sense to me. I was like, okay, this one, I like, this is my tribe. Like, this one is works for my type of people. And so it's just, if God is going to place me in that kind of position, I honestly, I mean, at this point, I used to say, no, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be. But they just certain things that I feel like I can add to the conversation. And if God is going to use me to do that, I'm down. Like, I would definitely subscribe to it. Because before I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. But I found that sometimes, like, when you identify certain problems that you feel like can change or can be more effective, it could be it's just God's way of also letting you know that that could be your own ministry. Like, that area where you dey complain about, that you're constantly always complaining, oh, this thing should be here. This thing, why is this thing not done like this? It can be like God's way of saying, you, that thing that you're complaining about, like, that is actually your own ministry, but you just don't know yet. That kind of thing. So for me, I'm surrendered to that. Oh, I don't want to be that, but obviously I don't. I would not like to be called, like, or referred to as a pastor, because I don't really like the title also. But if God is going to put me in a position to, you know, do exploits for Him, I definitely will want to change certain things that I find concerning, or I find like can be improved on, not concerning actually. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. So, any other person running? Because for me, I need to run again, shower, but Now before I dey run, but I'm stop running. So yeah, did someone say
Um,
something?
yes. I think just to add to this point, yes. The calling conversation. I think it is important
Mm,
to know that when you surrender, um, you become part of a body. And
mm,
because you're part of a body, you have a function.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
just like the human body, yes, the hand has a function. The head has a function. So if we are looking at the body of Christ in that sense, yes. If you are the hand, you have a function. So even when you are not called or you are running from being called as a pastor, the end of it all, to end the conversation, we all have a calling. Yes.
yes, for
Naturally,
sure.
yes. When you give your life to Christ, you have your primary calling as a believer, yes.
Mm,
But when we move deep into it, yes, each and every one of us, we have like a deeper calling to do certain things. So that can easily translate into the example you gave. You did not find salvation necessarily in the church, yes, but you found salvation because of a group that the church created, yes, and people from the church were heading. Yeah, so someone made that their calling to head the group, to head that body,
Mm,
yes, and then you found your own
yeah,
salvation through that, yeah. So I feel,
true.
regardless of what it is, your responsibility as a Christian, yes, is to check yourself in terms of like your behaviors and all that. You can't say, oh, I can't be a pastor because I don't want to stop this, I don't want to stop that. You've been
mm,
called, you should stop it. Yes.
mm,
You've been called, so you should drop all of the bad habits. The next step would now be now functioning in your respective higher calling. And it could be from anywhere. There are people that are called into boardrooms. Yeah, there are people that are called into policy making because we need Christians that are making policies. Yes, we need
Mm,
Christians in politics. That can be your call. Yes, we
mm,
have Christians that are calling is for them to go to like remote areas and start a small clinic or hospital or something. Yes. And
mm.
just because of that clinic, a lot of people will give their life to Christ.
mhm,
Yes.
Guy, this thing you're saying, bro, it charge me more, say. I'm telling you, yeah, because because that's exactly my mind. I'm like, if the like this, like I can be a Christian and still operate at like the level with which I would operate, like and enter like penetrate through industries, change things in industries that I feel like, oh, I have a problem with this thing, man. Like, and I feel like it needs to be improved. I can go to that industry. If God is having me good, I can change it as a Christian, and that nothing speaks better than knowing that this person that this change you're being like this change you're experiencing was
mm,
as a result of somebody's um obedience to their calling. And what better way for someone else, like a younger person somewhere, to sit there and say, you know what, this person did do this thing. That same God that did this thing for this guy, he can do it for me too. That kind
mm.
of thing. So and that's how redemption stories start. Because somebody inspired somebody, and we can always be that person that inspires the next person. So
Yeah.
I completely agree. I buy into what Titan is saying. Wallahi, I buy everything.
So that's why, like, it's very important that, like, in all that we do, yes, we are diligent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we show the image of God the Father, and when you look at God's creation, you'll see how structured each and everything is. And like when scientists talk about like the minute details that like is keeping the earth together, yes, you will see the intentionality behind God the creator.
mm,
That kind of like shows that, oh, if it isn't like my job is so clean, I should show intentionality in that cleaning.
Mm,
Yes. It's kind of like I should always
mm.
strive in whatever circle I am. Yes, I should
Mm-hmm.
strive to I should strive to show the kind of perfection that, like, when people
Mm,
query my work, they should see that, oh,
mm,
this person is doing their work well.
Mm.
So your face should
mm,
never be an excuse. You know, when like,
mm,
oh, it is
mm,
because of this, it's because of that. Like, the diligence should show. Like, I was not diligent before. Now that I am in Christ, I have to be diligent. Yes, I have to dot
mm,
all my I's because I am in Christ now, and it's part of the requirement.
mm. Yeah,
Mm.
real sure. Yeah. Uche, did you want to say something?
No, I was just listening.
Okay. But are
Mm.
you running from something?
I'm all, see, I'm running from the devil. I run from devil and his temptations for this life. Eh,
Well, I think I
Maybe,
just said my.
maybe.
I think I just said my own. What I'm thinking. That you don't need to. You can still be in Christ and then operate from a different place. You don't need to like. You don't need to be a pastor to operate in
Mm,
that manner. Like you said, you're still looking for people that would their own might be to go to a rural place and have like a
exactly.
two
mm,
and things like that. So they are different.
Yeah,
I think my problem is just when everybody just puts it in, they make it seem like as if to do a couple of things, you need to be the
the
pastor,
pastor.
right? So and
Yeah,
then
I
the role now look even bigger
yeah,
than
yeah,
what
yeah.
it should. So it's
Um,
just that. That's just
yeah,
what I think.
yeah. I feel like it's even people like you that actually make like like they end up calling like you might not be on the pulpit, you might not be doing all those things, but like
Mm.
I let me even look up the definition of what a pastor is like because let me just even see what the definition really is. Being a Christian who serves as a spiritual guide. And okay, because for me, like the word pastor can actually like I can see you excellent in your field, like and stewarding people, towards a different life. And you're not doing it on the pulpit, but you're doing it outside of the church. But to me, you still come up as a pastor, right? So it's just it's perspective, I believe. Perspective, and it's also like it's also the diligence to want to, be the change that you want to see in the world, that kind of thing. So yeah. But I feel like people like you won't make better will make great pastors. But not like pulpits. Okay, let me not say not like pulpit pastors, but like people that are doing exceptional stuff in the field, that kind of thing. Doing exploits for God, carrying the mantle and inspiring somebody else to also do the same thing. Younger people, older people, whichever way, you know. So it's not just perspective, honestly. Yeah.
A
Let's see what
mentor, and
this brother is saying.
we went to one of his friends' house. And so I pull up and he's like got a compound. And
Mhm.
so I was like, yo, this is dope. And so he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I got like my sister is like back here, my mom is back here, and all of a sudden we just are on this big family compound. We have like the pool in the middle with pickleball courts. It was just great. And I talked to him, I was like, huh. Like I think it's so cool that like all the family, like his sons were there. It's like all the families just on this one big compound, and like everybody's working together and doing
Mhm.
something similar with each other, and just
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, yeah, because I was like, it's crazy because so many people, like you said, want to be independent, which I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
And he was like, it's not. But then we also talked about how like doing it together you can create something in this
Compounds
compound. Compounds the margin for which you can accomplish and cover, because you're doing it with other people. And so I was like, because his sons are younger, and so I was like, I wonder, like, because you've clearly done so much for your sons. Like, you clearly are, like, he's pointed out like plots of things that he reached about building houses for them, or like he's building a tiny home community, and there's a bunch of stuff that he's planning on doing for his sons. And I can tell he's a financially responsible man, so he's probably got stuff for them. And I was like, I wonder, like, if his sons are gonna grow up and be like, nah, like, I'm cool, I'm so independent that I don't want to use that.
And what would you say to them if they were sitting across from you right now?
And I'd be like, no, like, you're not supposed to do the exact same thing as your dad. You're supposed to use the things that your dad has worked so hard to give you and make your own thing and incorporate it together.
And
like,
build on top of it.
Yeah, and build on top of it. And it was just cool because I saw that, like, in real time. I'm like, it was just weird. Like, it actually physically, I got to see it. But the point was, like, no, I can't believe people would have run away from the compound whenever they have all this stuff that the dad has been just waiting, like, I've worked so hard to help you and do your thing.
Come on, spiritual principle. I hear it. I hear it. No, not from you. I'm saying I hear the Holy Spirit saying,
I was like, no, that's good.
Why would the Father give us all this inheritance and us run over here and do our own thing?
Yeah. It kind of is like I guess the word I'm looking for is, like, honest, like a knock on God's sovereignty. Like what he was doing was an accident.
Yeah, he was intentional.
Yeah, like, he wasn't intentional.
But no, he entrusted you to this family and them to you.
Yeah.
And the framework of what that family built. Even the hard things, meaning, you know, I've said before that the fact that y'all have experienced, and Brent, I want to hear your response to this too, but the fact that y'all have experienced the amount of losses y'all have experienced. We lost 10 people in 5 years. That didn't start till I was in my 30s. Like, I was, you know, nearly 40 when we started all those losses, but y'all had it when you were 10 through 20. So why would the Lord entrust you with that hard stuff? Why does the person that come from a family where they you know, never saw their dad because he wasn't present, or their mom, whatever, or they just had hard stuff? Well, the Lord entrusts you with that too. You have to care. You have to believe in his sovereignty enough to go, well, that developed compassion in me for other people that would go through this hard stuff that I wouldn't have had. Or an awareness that there are people who have loved ones who are incarcerated, maybe, that I wouldn't have even thought about if that wasn't my story. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So the good and the bad, it's like, okay, Lord, why did you entrust this to me? And help me not run from it so much that I actually miss the whole reason why you put me in this position. So what would you say to a younger person who's feeling that struggle?
This is getting good to me. No, because, and it literally makes me think about my actual life, because my parents didn't get saved until they had me. So my siblings would feel differently than I do, because they're like, no, you got a different version of our parents than we ever did. And why did God see fit that I be born to my parents after Christ? And so I think, like, it is something to think of. And I would say, man, like, to not run from it. My parents were bivocational, so they both worked in business. My mom owned, like, real estate companies. And now in my mid 30s, I'm going, dang, I want to get into real estate. And how, as a kid, I was like, I want nothing to do with this. I want to learn it. Like, my dad's like, I got properties. I'm like, sell them. I don't want them. And now I'm going, what was I thinking? And so I would say, man, I do think it is that, as much as you're running, I think it is to sit and go, okay, I really don't like this. I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like the experiences, but why am I here? Right? And what can I take from this, even if I end up in a different path, but I have that foundation? Because building from the ground in the dirt, when I could be standing on bricks and a foundation and something that's already built, feels really crazy. But I think it takes a little bit of humility to go, okay, I don't want anything to do with this, but what am I going to need from this? And what can I take from it to be able to build whatever I think I want to build? Because there are so many things in my now life, I'm going, nothing was wasted. In every skill set, even the creative spaces I was able to work in, have everything to do with all the things I did in church as a kid. I learned everything in church. I'm like, I had to run the audio, I had to run the screens, and that ended up becoming my profession. And so I think that nothing's ever wasted, but because we're running so much, we don't see all of the fruit that we're getting. Like, this, it's in seed form in that point, right? But that will definitely bear fruit in our lives. And I would say, like, man, just take a minute and to see if the thing you're actually running from is what you should be running to,
Mhm.
because it probably speaks more to who you are and who you will become than you realize.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's
man.
That's that.
Okay, I need to shift gears.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to ask you about the season of life you're in right now,
Mm-hmm.
in your mid-30s. And I want to know about your dating / not non-dating life. I want to know if it's been intentional. I want to know if you've been like, I'm just waiting on that, or I just haven't found the right person. What has your mindset been with that? And again, I'm thinking about the 20-year-old that's watching this podcast, my 20-year-old sitting right here, who's like, okay, here's a young woman who loves God. She's beautiful. She's well-adjusted. She's educated. She has a storied career already at this point in her life. She says yes to God. And in this part of her life, she has a boundary around it, whether intentionally or not. What does that look like? And where are you right now in that whole situation?
Oh, I'm tired.
I know, girl. But I have to ask you. The people need to know.
No, for sure. I think it has not, I haven't intentionally like avoided that in my life. I think all of the things that you just listed, to some people feel like why wouldn't somebody, right? I think they can also be markers against you that go like, well, you got all of this. Do you really want that? You know? And so I think like being able to say like, yeah, I'm just kind of not sitting around waiting, you know, for that.
You
and I'm
living
just,
your life.
yeah, I'm just living my life. But sometimes living your life becomes a boundary that some people don't want to cross. And so I think in this recent year I've been dating, it's just difficult. I think.
Why is it difficult?
It's difficult.
Brenda?
One,
Aunt Brenda.
You know what I'm saying? Aunt Brenda is crazy. I think it's difficult. One, I think the more visibility, the harder it is to decipher intentions or motives. I think also I had to start sitting with like, okay, what do I actually really want and what do I actually need? And I think, because I've been living life, I hadn't really sat down to be intentional about it, right? And I think there's a way we can give off, oh, she's not thinking about this at all. And so I think for me, I've been in a space where I'm like, okay, God, like, I'm ready. You know, like,
you feel ready now.
I feel ready. I do. I feel like there's been a shift too. Like even moving to Dallas is like slowing down. It's a slower pace. I'm getting a little more grounded. I'm not all over the world like I used to be, you know, and being intentional about what it looks like to start cooking and not eating out. And like, those seem like little things, but that's an adjustment, right? Like, and what it would look like to have to care and consider for someone else. Because that's different.
That's different.
Yeah.
And so as you look at this stage of what your, for lack of a better word, list is of what would be important to you in a mate, what are some of those things and how is that different than the 25-year-old version of you?
Okay. I think at
well, that question, Lanre, that question,
very
would you like to go first? Let's hear the
list
question.
is of what would be important to you in a mate. What are some of those things and how is that different than the 25-year-old version of you?
Okay. I think at 25, I just need him to be.
So, Larry, do you want to go first, or Uchi, do you want to go first?
So let Harry go first.
Oh, I don't mind. I can go first. I can go first. I don't mind. All I know is, I think me and you, we spoke about something similar to this before we started.
Before we started recording,
So I was like, before, maybe it was not really important to me. But now, it's very important to me that my partner knows and fears God. And my singular reason is that before, when I was even younger, my parents used to, when they used to talk about marriage for us, I was still young then. So they used to be like, I should marry from the church, this, that. And I remember that time I used to say, I cannot marry anybody that's going to their church, that's in the same church as them. And then, been in a couple of relationships where, to be very honest, maybe is when we already even started the relationship that we would maybe talk about one or two religious things. Like, it didn't used to be the whole reason for getting into the relationship. But now, if I want to get into a relationship with somebody, I think the first thing I really want to know from that person is their relationship with God and if they actually fear God. And for sake of no better English, the reason is that I believe that anybody can hurt you, anybody can do anything to you. But I still kind of believe that somebody that actually knows and fears God think
Mm,
twice before doing some kind of things to you. So even if
mm,
right now I don't know a lot of things, what I would have thought of then and what I want now, I know that the one that is very, very important and I've thought of is that right now, meeting anybody new for me or anything like that has to be that this person actually knows and knows who God is, understand what God is, and
Mm,
actually fears God. It's a very, very important criteria for me. I think it's even the most singular important criteria for me right now, than looks and then those other things. I'm not saying they are not important too, but really, really, it's very, very important to me that this person knows God and then this person fears God. So for me, I might not know the differences right now, but that's one major important difference that I'm sure of.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
mm,
Um, for safety and security sake.
more.
Mhm.
Good talk, oh.
Which,
Good
which,
talk.
which, you want to go next?
Yeah, like more true talk. Like Larry just took the words out of my brain. Like, I'm being honest. There's a difference between being like I don't want to say there's a difference, right? I want to say there's a difference between being a Christian and someone that has a close relationship with God. Because I mean, a lot of us like identify as Christians, but having a close relationship with God is something there. It's different. But for me,
Mm,
the reason why is because everyone has a close relationship with God. There are some things person would tread on cautiously before doing in a relationship. Like I would say the person would rather want to lead with peace and love rather than wanting to be right because the concept of love is not trying to be right, but um it's not really trying to be right. That's what I would say. Like there are different means to love, like being loves, patient, kind, does not envy, does not boast, it's not proud and rude. So, those things are not things that the world will give me or will give the person. So, if the person has a close relationship with God, I feel like the person would be aware of those values and want to walk in line with those values, which is way better than having to take advice from TikTok or Instagram.
mm,
So,
mm, mm. Yeah, good point, man.
mm,
Good point. For me, my own guys getting Yash and Bobby. Very, 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 very important, please. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Future wife, you did what this video up there? You got the joke. He's gonna beg you. So actually, those things are things that when I was younger, I used to be crazy about those things. But now, like this, I've traded off those things honestly for somebody that is obviously godly, um, someone with temperament, because temperament is another thing that I'm also considering. Someone that is who did it like our energy is matched, like in the sense that um you know like there's a rhythm like that I'm looking for with the person, like in terms of like energy, with how they comport themselves, like how they speak. Because for me, I want to be sure that the person I'm being with is someone that respect, like we have the mutual respect, that kind of thing. So how they speak is very important. Then having like looking into their family dynamics, like they definitely have to have I must see a present dad and a present mom there. If I don't see that in the picture, and it's not just even having the present, but having like a respectful relationship with them, very important, non-negotiable for me. Because from where they come from, love theirs. So we know they lack love
Mm.
from where they live. So
Mhm.
I want to also see that in my own partner too. And even if they don't have it, but at least she's working on it. I can see that, oh, she's conscious about it. She's trying to take steps in the right direction to ensure that she doesn't replicate that in her own family moving forward. So, then, what else? I think for me, like, that's just it. Like, looks are, I'm not really like big on looks, but I mean, if God would bless you, man. One thing about looks, like I told Uche the same thing. One thing about looks
Mm.
that I'm very, it's 100%. I've tested the theory is without a fault is that as long as God is in that home, and God is, as God is, elevating you guys, like whether career wise, profession wise, like he's elevating both of you. It just naturally starts to take that like the person starts to look different. Like there's just a way that progressing in your careers, progressing in your lives, like starts to look very different for you. Especially if
Makes you
God is
glow.
behind it. And you guys are like you're really on fire. You guys are on the same page. Like I've this thing I've seen it in different homes. It's not like, oh, the two I have seen it. It has happened. So I know that I'm not really so bothered about this because I know that God will be intentional with our relationship and it will take us to different heights. Both my wife and me, we're definitely going to like different heights, to greater heights. So I know that as we're going to those heights, God is definitely going to,
Mm.
envelope us in his grace, in his glow and whatever. So we're going to look very different from how we look today. So I'm not really like big on looks or like body type or all these things. I mean, these are things I used to be very concerned about before, but I feel like those things are just very,
Superficial.
when I'm being intentional, like if I'm being intentional, like what exactly do I want, versus, what I would need, like what we did for the long run. Like, is this someone that I
Mm.
can, and also having spent time with like a lot of older folks too, has like opened my eyes to like knowing that, oh, my, this person, you're going to be with this person for a very long time, right? But having like someone that is caring, such that even in old age, like this is someone that you see, whether in sickness, whether in whatever, like this person will be there, that kind of thing. So it's another thing that I and obviously you cannot know that for sure, but at the end of the day, all these things at the end of the day are just things that I want. But at the end of the day, it's still only a risk, right? Marriage for me, I still feel like it's a risk, like, but it's just that with God, like with God being there, we're able to like, he's able to help us, guide us and stuff. Another thing I think like that is important to me is also who the person listens to. Because for
Mm.
me, if you ask me this thing like like me or 5 years ago, I didn't really care about this mentorship or having somebody that like nothing concerned me with all these things. But now I've gotten to the point where I'm actively seeking mentorship, like people that I would submit to, such that if my partner comes into the picture, although there are certain people that are in my life currently, like my dad, my sister, then my one man that I have like that, um, who I always call like my uncle. Those people are people that even if I decrease, like there's no amount of crease that I want to crease. Those three people or those four people, my mom, dad, the man, and then my firstborn, there's no type of crease that I want to crease that I will not listen to them. Like there's no amount of crease.
Mm.
So as long as the person goes through one of those channels, they can always know that Omo, they can get through to Toby, regardless of which thing they happen. You will sit down, you will listen to them, no matter what has gone wrong or what has not gone wrong. So I also
Mhm.
want that person to also have those kind of figures in their life where, okay, if something breaks, who is someone that we can go to, that you listen to? Very, very important for me because I've seen how that is like it's a non-negotiable. I also feel like my pastor also taught me that lesson, of having those people in our lives that we can go to. So that one is equally very important for me. Even if the person doesn't have it in their life, but they want to, like they see the importance of it, and you know, it could even be their parents. Like they listen to their, as long as they have a responsible relation with their dad, their mom. It could
Mm-hmm.
be someone that
Mm-hmm.
they could be people that they listen to too. So there's no issue with like a parent being that. But along the way, so you could pick up like father figures, mother figures along the way in the faith or outside of the
Mm.
faith, maybe in a field financially or
Yeah, Toby,
But
there's something I wanted to ask you. So,
mm,
maybe when you're done, I'll ask you.
Wait, sorry, I want to.
yeah.
There's something that me and Toby mentioned when
Okay.
we started. So as Toby was talking, it just reminded me. Something that is
Okay.
very important to me too is how before I can get into a relation with anybody or get married to anybody right now, one thing that is
Mm.
very important to me is how they act when they are angry. And I remember me and you discussing
Temperament.
because I use temperament. I use this. There's this
Mm.
example that was going on Twitter, like I want to say 1 month or 2 months ago. So people are talking about blocking their partners when they are angry, and then there
Hmm,
was this lady that now tweeted that it's God that will save her. That
hmm.
even in marriage, that as she's married now, when she's angry with her partner, she'll be blocking for 2 3 days. This is marriage, somebody that they are sleeping in the same house. That she'll block him for 2 3 days for an hour. But now made me recall it. I've been with somebody, my last
Oh
relationship.
boy.
When this person is angry, they will block me for like 2 days. And me, I don't see you so because I just wonder that how do you say you like somebody? How do you say you love somebody and then you block them for 2 days? And the reason is that they don't hate you, but in that period of time, they just don't want to have anything to do with you because they are annoyed with you. So me personally, I feel like that thing is a mental illness. I don't think it's normal. So going forward now, if I would say I want to be in a relationship with anybody, I need to and when I say these things, people will now ask me that is it that you're waiting for us to fight? Is it that you want us to
No.
fight? It's not necessarily
Hmm,
like, but I really need to see because
hmm,
conflict resolution is not a skill that everybody
uh-huh,
has. Some people
uh-huh,
even they have to
hmm,
take it to the extreme. It has to spoil
hmm,
before we can start building.
hmm,
I have this
uh-huh,
friend.
hmm.
I know that Toby knows him. Actually, three of you have seen him before. Kingsley, that my
Okay.
Hmm.
big friend. So he was dating this Jamaican girl.
Oh,
Now I'm
Kingsley,
not
that's
Okay.
Toby's
exaggerating when I
roommate.
say yes. This is the no my own roommate, Kingsley. This is the first
Okay.
person that I've seen that the only time
Hmm.
she's happy is when they are fighting. Like I wish I was exaggerating. If they are not
Hmm.
fighting, she's not happy.
But
The
there's some
only
people like
time that
that,
if
though.
they're not fighting, she would do something that like today some one time my friend has
Mm-hmm.
tried to keep this thing peaceful till around 1 a.m. There was no fight, and because there was no fight, she went to take knife and said that she's going to call police that he wants to stab her. Like there must be issue.
Anyway.
Is when there is issue that she's happy. Our own
Hmm.
reasons now is a very stupid reason because I think one
Therapy
time they now
before
got talking
marriage.
that he now asked her that why is it that you like trouble? Say that because our own best kind of sex is makeup sex. So they cannot have makeup sex
Haha.
except if there is no previous anger. So that's our own
Wow.
reason for like it's so bad that everything can be peaceful, everybody is laughing, everybody is okay. She can just enter a mood that will make you ask her, okay, what's wrong? What happens? But our end goal is just so that you say something and then people will fight. Once you start
Mm.
fighting, our mission is complete. So because of those kind of people that I've witnessed, I think one that is very important for me, I really need to see your reactions
Hmm.
when you're angry.
Hey.
Hmm.
Very, very
Yeah, yeah,
important
yeah.
because may God not allow us go jam. Actually, I started asking that is it a Jamaican thing, is it a Caribbean thing, or because if
Hmm.
they are telling me, I might not believe it, but I've seen it
Yeah.
with my eyes. She's only happy
Hmm.
when you are fighting.
Hmm.
So I think first is first. Did you just name drop your friend's relationship?
No, they are not dating again. He
Oh, they
had
are
to
no
run
longer
away.
together.
Oh,
Wow.
I thought it was a marriage.
Yeah.
I did not know it was this.
He
I
had, he
know.
had to run away. Something that has gotten to police station. They've gone to court before, and then they've gotten
Court,
restraining
some police
orders.
station.
I'm telling you. And then
I
after
don't
the
know.
restraining order, she still wants them to be to be together and still continue
Ah,
fighting, saying that that is
mm,
just her own way. That's how she sees it.
um,
Therapy, therapy,
yeah, so
therapy.
that's what I was about to say. Yes, that like a lot of us are broken in different ways that we don't realize it.
Mm,
Even sometimes it's even be demonic possession and we don't know. Yes,
Mm.
Yeah. I
because
agree.
we're saying it and we're all laughing about it because it doesn't sound nice. It doesn't make any sense. Yes. So it shouldn't be so, basically. Like something like that shouldn't be happening. So it's more towards there is a problem. And so I would assume like I'd also okay, there's a problem. And I think they did the right thing by like ending it, but there's a problem.
Hmm.
And if we are talking about a Christian relationship, there are ways it would have probably not gotten to that point. Yes, and like it brings us back to like the whole like how do you pick a partner and what should you be looking for
Hmm.
conversation. I think as the only married man in this
Yeah, yes,
forum,
now.
yes.
That's why I like you talk last.
As the only married man in this forum, I think you're like hit the nail on the head. Yes, the most important thing at the end of the day is your partner's work with God. And as Christians, it is very important because we can't be unequally yoked. Um, we can't be unequally yoked at all. The foundation has to be Christ. The foundation can't be Christ for one person, yes, and just free will for the other. Yes, because then again, it's now you have your own guidelines. This person have their own guidelines, and then it's clashing. But when you're equally yoked and your foundation is Christ, there are certain things that come with Christianity, yes, like with Christ as your guideline, that put things into perspective. And when I say Christ is your guideline, I'm talking about people that decided to follow Christ, that are fully surrendered to Him. I'm not talking about just looking for a girl that like attends church every new year.
Hmm.
Yes. You have to see that this person has also surrendered their life. They are willing to follow Jesus. So your marriage would be two of you following Jesus together. It's kind of like when you look at a door, yes, you're on
Hmm.
one side of the door, she's on one side of the door. You are pushing, she's pushing. It's like you are stopping the door from opening, yes, because you're pushing on two different sides. Yes, compared to like when you put on one side of the door and both of you are pushing towards the other direction.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's like you're applying force to the same direction. That's basically what equally yoked is. It's like we both of us were following the same direction. So in that direction, yes, we'll find all of our flaws. Yes, in following Christ, yes. There's one thing about following perfection. It brings our flaws to light. In your journey with Christ, you start to see, oh, it's like I have small anger issue with a sprinkle of madness. Yes. So you are seeing all those things, and as you are seeing it, you are doing all the right things to like curb it.
Hmm.
Where you need therapy, you are going for therapy. Where you think, oh, like life has just treated me unfairly because of the kind of environment I grew up in. There's a need for me to relate certain things. You are doing all that already. Yes. So like basically finding someone that is following Christ, it goes a long way, and it will makes your wedding more significant. Because if you are following Christ and she's not following Christ, and on the altar you say, "Oh, I do," so dead doors press in Christ for Christ. Yeah, you're doing all that, yes, but it means something to you. It does not mean anything to her. Then there's a
Hmm.
problem because it's like you are your oaths, the thing they are using to like confirm your oaths doesn't have any weight for one of the parties. So it's null and void from the get-go. So that's why it is important for both parties to be equally yoked. The second thing I would say is character. And character can be a blanket, um, like we can use character as the umbrella for a lot of things, yes. But character, and the reason why character is important is that after the whole following of Christ, we have found a woman that is following Christ. Let's weigh her character. Yes, you're about to spend the rest of your life in the same house with this woman. does she have a good character? Can you stay under the same roof with this person without exploding? Yes.
Mm.
When you see that you can't manage this person's character. And all I'm saying is because we're talking in terms of like picking a partner, yes, because your own
Hmm?
character, so you have to check it. You can't be the
Hmm.
one with the
Yeah, for
bad
sure.
character, yes, but like
Yeah.
Self-awareness. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
have to be
exactly.
self-aware that like your character is also not bad.
I think
Hmm.
You
I
can't
think
be
we
the
were
Mm-hmm.
one
talking
with the
about
bad.
something like that. So at some
So
Yeah,
like
point.
yeah, yeah. You were.
there's like that character weight, yes, that like you
Hmm.
can't compromise on. So like
Mm.
after we've concluded that okay, yes, I look at my wife, she's following Christ. Yes, she has good foundations. She has her own walk of faith. Yes, she's following our walk of faith. Okay, what else? Okay, this woman also has good characters. She's uh she's understanding, uh she's polite, she's her own person, um she's a very lovable person. She like you could see that like she's caring. You can see that like she doesn't just want to tell you about her bad day, she also wants to know about your own bad day.
Hmm.
Yeah, like she also wants to like comfort you and tell you, oh, like all will be well. Yes, you are seeing signs that, oh, okay, yes, we had an argument. I was wrong, so I called her to tell her, okay, I was wrong, I'm sorry. And she was like, she understands. She was quick to forgive. So you're seeing the fruit of the spirit manifest in her. So you're like, oh yes, this woman is not just following Christ. She also has the fruit of the spirit. So like you've checked another box, yes. Then
Mm.
like I would always say, like, I thank God my wife is beautiful, yes, but like it is you should never compromise character because of appearance. Yes. Oh, this woman is very bad behaved. This woman is badly behaved. You say, but because she's fine, I'll manage her like that. You can't manage marriage. Yes. And you find that like marriage as an institution, yes, they kind of like put your bad habits under a microscope. So it amplifies your bad habits because you're in the same, it's like you put in each other's skin, yes. So your bad habits will be very visible to your partner. Yes. So it's
Hmm.
important you don't add baggage to like the flaws that like you people will start to discover and will start to work together to like correct in marriage. So
Mm.
it's always a no-brainer to ensure that like oh the partner that you're picking is of good character over
Mm.
beauty. Yes. Um Beauty at the end of the day is vanity upon vanity. It fades away. Yes, but good character, regardless of
Yeah,
age, yes, would
Hmm.
remain.
yeah. It's still be there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there is that. Another thing I would say is, I think just, I want to say common sense. Yes, wisdom. Yes, there's something about like doing life with a woman that is wise. Yes, don't be the man that feels threatened when you don't be the man that feels threatened about the idea of doing life with an intelligent woman. Yes, it's important for you to have a partner that you can rely on. Yes. Most times sometimes we don't talk about it well enough. And sometimes it's always also because there's a way they've packaged being a man to us sometimes that I feel like you have to have all the answers. But it's
Hmm.
important to be
Mm.
able to get answers from your life partner. So
Mm.
that's why wisdom is very important. Like marrying a woman that is white is very important because when you don't have the answers, the next person that will whisper into your ears must be able to whisper something that is sensible into your ears.
Mm.
Because the person you decide to do life with by your side, yes, can make you or break you.
Hmm.
So it's better you find someone that can complement you in the right ways. And that is why that wisdom part is very this important. Another thing that you should not negotiate about is finding a wife. We can twist it, say it anyhow we like, but she does not become a wife after marriage. She becomes a wife when you find her. You'll find, and you too, you must be husband, because for someone to be a wife, you too, you have to be a husband. Yes, like you
Mhm.
should be able to like take up responsibilities. And when I say finding a wife, I'm not talking about finding someone that is willing to like have sex with you and do like things that you should be enjoying after marriage. Yes, I'm talking more towards as a man, even like the Bible says that like it's not say you'll find a girlfriend first and all that. You'll find
Mhm.
someone, and when you see the person, like you find a wife. You will see that this woman, or sometimes you won't see some ladies and you'll be like, this is a wife. Yes, you should be able to say, yes, this is a wife. You should start to see, you should see the woman fit into those roles. And like basically finding your helpmates. Yes, like the way Adam saw Eve and it was like, oh, this is the bone of my bone. Yes, this is like blood of my blood. So, like finding a woman and I can say that, yes, I see how my life, yes, would make sense. I see how my dreams would align with this person by my side. And it does not need to be the full picture. It's just someone that, like, when you sort of talk about your stories, yes, you can see the alignments towards, oh, I can see how we could make this work. Yes, it does not mean, oh, we're not saying have all the money, have all the answers, but like someone that like when two of you come together, yes, you can chase 10,000. Yes, like
Mhm.
you can. So basically, finding like your own helpmate, and I think every other thing would like just wiggle into like those umbrellas. Like, yeah, I think at the end of the day, everything that I've said, yes, the most like the cornerstone, the foundation is like finding someone that has decided to follow Christ. Like
Mm.
that's like the foundation of it all. Someone that decided to follow Christ and is like walking their own journey with Christ.
Mhm.
When you have that in check, then every other thing you start to see this thing, you start to see the fruits, you start to see the effort the person is taking, you start to see the daily surrender. It's easier to talk to a woman that surrendered to Christ when she's being stubborn or whatnot. Yes, it's even easier for us to also talk to you if you surrender to Christ when you're being stubborn, because this person is already doing daily surrender. She's practicing surrender already. Yes. You're practicing your own surrender to Christ. So when we're talking about, oh, I have anger issue, blah, 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 I'll ask you, you that have anger issue, how do you do with your relationship? When you say you fully surrender to Christ, yes. How do
Mm.
you manage that anger when it comes to Christ? Yes. Now let's mirror that into our relationship. So, like, getting a woman that is equally used to you is like a no-brainer.
But I want to ask, like, so let's say I know you're married now. Okay, let me use Larry as a. Let's say Larry is talking to a
Mhm.
lady, right?
Who I
And
need to marry?
yes.
They'll stop using you for example.
Go ahead, I'm just joking.
Let's say he's talking to someone that he likes, and they're discussing, and let's say it's 12 days so far, so good. But so far, so good. The woman is talking about her faith and her trying to work with God. Would you say that at that time period, then, like, I know you just need to know someone long, like, what would you say is the sweet spot, and what kind of things do you discern, or should Larry discern now to say, okay, this woman um is really submitting to God? Let me put it that way.
Um, I just want to be sure I got your question well. So you're talking about a woman that we are talking about a new convert.
You know what?
Yes. Are you talking about like a new convert? Because you're talking someone
No,
that is
he's
like,
saying how do you
No.
know, like when you're talking to somebody, how do you know that they are like
Fully
their
surrender.
foundation is Christ? How do you know that they are really surrendering to Christ when you have just? How do you discern from just talking to them that they have surrendered to Christ? That's what he's
That's,
saying.
also, I think by their fruits, yes. Testing their doctrine, yes. Talking about Christ, it should. I think it's very important. See, people don't talk about like the restaurants you want to go to alone and your favorite colors and whatnot. Yes. Um, I think when you are when you're doing your own personal study, you're trying to add on to your knowledge of Christ and your journey with Christ. When you have questions and all that, have those conversations with that. So like Christ should be the center of your conversations because
Mm.
there's so much you can fake.
So let's say the woman loves Christ and everything, but she doesn't cook. Unko.
So that's the preference thing, yes.
But she doesn't
That's
want.
the
Sorry.
preference. That's a preference thing, yes. I fully believe there are certain things in
Oh
like a
man.
marriage, yes,
Uh,
that like you could compromise on depending on you, yes, and like
mm,
also the kind of family you want to have. There are some families that they don't cook at all. They have like their private chef, or whatnot. If you have the capacity, if it is important for your wife to cook, yes,
mm.
like before I even consider that, like I'm a firm believer of you should also know how to cook. Cooking is a life skill,
I'm
yes, that
telling you,
like
the life
everybody should have.
skill.
Ah, let, let me let me divert a bit. Like the one that I said the wife is blocking her husband, the husband. No, but I don't understand how married couple have blocked themselves
I
inside the same
thank
house.
you.
I can't comprehend this. How will you block your partner?
How will you be sleeping
Because
beside
number
me and
one,
I've blocked you?
so the reason why I don't understand this is because number one, if you're in the same space, yes, if you're in the same space, when the person is blocked, does that mean when you physically see the person, you close your mouth, or if the person asks a question, you
That's the
also
question
block the
people were
person
asking.
in
That how
real
are you
life.
sleeping? She said
Like
they are
how does it
sleeping on the
work?
same bed. They are sleeping on the same bed. But as far
Hmm.
as texting is concerned, she doesn't want to hear from this person. So he's
It's blocking text, but it's not blocking real
he's not
life.
blocked in real
So
life.
virtual stonewalling.
we thank we thank God for that.
Oh
They
man.
are make, but yeah, like I think it's this is so go back to it. Yeah, I think it is important. It is important to like what works for me. I can't give my own blueprints
Mm,
of like a wife to another person to like
mhm,
take. Yes, there are some people that like their whole life they spent it like traveling from one country to another. They found a partner and they started doing it together. They've been moving from one
mm,
country to another, yes, and they love it. There are some people that they like that let's build on in one location and build a family from there. Like for different people, different things. Some people like backpacking. So I think there are certain things that are like nuances that you could either agree or disagree with. And I think cooking, I strongly believe both parties involved should know how to cook. You could have a wife that does not like cooking. That's different from not knowing how to cook.
mhm.
I personally would not marry someone that does not know how to cook. I'm married now, so thank God my wife can cook. But but like it's kind of like I don't think I don't think that's like the first thing, yes, that we'll be talking about. Like, can she cook? Can she not cook? I think it is expected both parties know how to cook. And if both of you cannot cook, I feel cooking is something that is very easy to learn. I think it's very easy to learn. And in the age that we are in, yes, there's no recipe that you're looking for that you can't easily get. Even
Mhm,
AI will give you the breakdown of recipe to
mhm,
start. The only thing about learning how to cook is that maybe the first few trials, yes, you would cook concoction for yourself, but the more you
mhm,
cook it, the better it will become. So I don't think cooking should be any if both of you are so it's like you meet a woman, so you don't know how to cook. I say she can't marry a man that cannot cook. You start to put in the work. When you open
When you
YouTube,
like the
check,
person.
yeah, you start to learn how to cook the cook. And you
Mm.
might, funny enough, you might not start it and you discover that you love cooking.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I know. See, if I get into it, I go love am. No be not that if I need to. I don't need to find it out. I know.
Because I actually like cooking. Yes, like
Mhm.
I like the fact that like you can put things together and like
Creative. Yeah,
Mhm.
very
yeah,
Yeah.
creative. Yeah, that's the process that makes me like. I know like I'm not there yet. Like, but it's something that I'm open to. It's just that I've not just put in the time. That's just the thing. You know.
so me
But
yeah, continue.
yeah, but the fact say I know if you cook, like if I see a woman that can't cook, but I mean I can work with somebody that can't cook, but is willing to let us learn together. That kind of thing, you
But
know.
it's not like you can't cook. You cook jollof rice now.
I they cook, but it's just that when you have not trained that, like if you have not developed that muscle enough times, and you just do
Mm.
it passively, like it just want to be part of you like that. You get so
Yeah.
yeah, that's my
Man, I
that
cannot.
is
Me,
just
I cannot be with somebody that cannot cook. Oh. You don't even need to. You don't need to be a chef or anything, but just to see that basic survival skill, put
Yeah,
something together. It's very important for
very
me.
important. You
Very
can't buy
important
out
for
all the
me.
time.
As in, you can't exactly. You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
find out all the time. No.
Yeah, I
And
feel like
I want to
yeah,
add
if
that
the person
like
is
it's
willing
also
to learn
important
though.
for like the man to know how to cook it because you can't also have a wife that can't go for 1 week, 2 weeks vacation
As
Oh
without
yeah,
you
yeah,
dying.
yeah, yeah.
I was
Yes,
watching
like
one
Yeah.
video yesterday, and then the lady was going for like a week for the first time. So she was showing the guy how to use the washing machine, how to use the dryer. I remember, and I'm like, all these things are like
I
basic
saw
things
that
you
scene. I
shouldn't
saw
know
that
how to
scene.
do.
Mm, yeah.
I saw that
For me, no,
scene.
I mean, I can survive on my own. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
cooking just basic stuff. Now, just say some high level kind of cooking, right? Now, ain't problem with it. So, but yeah, the basic sha. And I also feel like, and I mean, this is just like on the side. You see that cooking thing, right? For me, I even feel like it's an opportunity that couples leave on the table to bond together. Like
Mm-hmm.
you see
Mm-hmm.
that kitchen, being in the kitchen together, where the woman and most times I've noticed that the men will just go and hide somewhere, right? Or they're doing their own thing. But that you see that moment in the kitchen, like if the wife is doing one thing, the husband is doing something, they're having conversations over it, like there's physical touch, there's different things going on. Like that bond, like it helps to build those bonds too. Like doing those things together, like having those experiences together helps to strengthen the bond, basically.
Yeah,
But
I'm married
most
and
people
they
leave it
laugh.
on the table.
Is it is it realistic every time?
Honestly, I'm looking for me. I'll make the time. I don't care if whether there's match or there's something I'm doing, except like something takes me out of the house.
Maybe asking carry on my. Is it realistic every time to do this thing like every time?
definitely not realistic. I think personally, yes,
Mm.
Mm.
I am a very leave my cooking space kind of person when I'm
For
cooking.
me, yeah.
I have my processes. I have like how I like cooking, and I don't like people like
Interfering with that.
interfering with it. Yes, not especially when you and the person have like two different cooking styles. Yes.
Mm.
Um.
Yeah, but
So,
can the person support you like in terms of like your cutting of the stuff, even
oh yes.
washing? Because I found that people that cook they don't like washing stuff.
Oh
Like
no. So
that's just
like
out there.
so I'm the kind
So
of person that when I'm cooking, yes, as I'm cooking, I like washing. So I could spend time cooking, but when I'm done cooking, you will not meet any like dirty plate or anything because
then
I
you're an
like
outlier
doing
then.
I like doing both. Like so it's like as I'm using this, maybe I use this plate to do something, I'm washing it. So I'll spend
Mm.
more
Mm.
time doing the whole process. But at the end of it, like I like leaving the space like clean. It's like I'm not done if the space is not clean. So
Mm,
there is that. There's also the part of like I actually had to learn to like let people help out a bit while I'm cooking, yes, because like I found out like I was becoming so rigid, when it comes to like, oh, this is my process, blah blah, and also like
mm,
to learn to like share the space. But
yeah.
that's more of like a personal thing. Yeah, there are people that like if they cook, you must wash the plate. Yes,
Mm,
like the
mm,
work that they've done is the cooking. Your own work is
yeah.
washing of the
And
plates.
I mean, I'll gladly, like, if my wife is doing the cooking, I'll be there, like, doing all the assisting, doing all the little things, washing all the stuff, and building that time together, like having that moment together too, helps. And for me, like that, I'll gladly take up that role. Like, but I still would want to learn how to cook, like some really, really good, way, way better things that I cook right than how I do it right now. So, but to
So
the
so
point of like, mm,
yeah, keep going. Till you're
but like
done.
to the point of woman, like, Uche's question, because I don't know why I asked the question, but I guess that I don't know. I guess like it depends
Wait,
on the
wait,
person,
rephrase the
right?
question because I know Titan was talking for some time. Me, so don't forget the question.
Oh,
Yeah, I
No,
think
like
you
you're
asked.
saying somebody that how do you recognize? How do you discern if they
Oh,
are
okay.
truly?
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
I want to quickly add something. Sorry. So sometimes, in as much as splitting the work, cooking together with your wife is great, yes. Sometimes the reason why you are cooking is also to give her time back. Yes. So time
Mm,
for her to
oh yeah.
rest, time for her to
Mm,
like do her own thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So you cannot always
Mm,
expect the two of
mm.
you to be in the kitchen at the same time. The
No,
way,
no, no,
like,
every time for
when
sure.
we were growing
Yeah.
up, they'll say daddy in the parlor watching TV or like reading news. Sometimes it should be mommy in the parlor too, like watching
Oh,
TV or
watching
like you
TV.
understand, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why daddy is in the kitchen cooking it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not every time for sure. Mm.
So where's the video?
Yeah. Okay, I thought you were still having that
And
conversation.
I think we had ended the conversation of like
Mhm.
the partner. Because that was the
Okay.
question,
Tall and
yes.
fine.
Fine. We need you to be fine.
Fine, like please. And I think
I need your thigh to be
Okay.
bigger than my thigh.
This is
no,
this is this
please.
is uncomfortable for a man
I
sitting here
understand,
It's
listening
okay.
but
today.
It's
it's
okay.
important.
It's what
Oh,
happens. It's what
okay,
happens.
yeah.
And then I think someone else
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because
Um.
that's different.
Yeah. Sorry. I wanted to say something. So we're talking the other time, and then I think Toby was saying something like looks don't really they are not top of the list for him. So me, I want to say that I agree that
That's
they should not
different.
be. I agree that they should not be top of the list or anything. But personally, I still feel like it's still kind of important. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong, right? But I still feel like it's still, it's still nicer if you think that this person is fine.
Yeah, for sure. But then also like fine is relative. I mean subjective.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine is
so
relative. As long
there's
as
that.
it's still, I just feel like
So
I don't know if
so
I
I
should
can I
say.
can I can say this person is fine to me, but it might be not as fine to somebody else. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I've said that I don't like I'm not like it's not I don't know how to put it, but like it's not I'm not out looking for that over like the things that I'm looking for, like in the person, right? I mean, I feel like I can even be blind to like defiance, to be honest.
Okay, let
If
me
those
just ask
things,
you. Let me just ask you this question straight. So if you
yeah,
meet, let's say you're talking to somebody, and then you can discern that okay, this person truly fears the Lord, and all of that
yeah.
is okay, but then you don't find yourself physically attracted to this person, would you still go ahead?
Honestly, my physical attraction now, even those things that I'm looking for.
Okay,
Like
like the physical attraction that I'm
that's
talking
how
about
love me.
is
Yeah, yeah. Is
looks,
those
for
things that I'm
example.
looking for. Yeah. It, so because it's not like you understand, because I'm no longer particular about looks, like it's not like the way I ranked it, like those things come first before even like how the person looks. Do you get?
Mm.
So, but obviously one thing I know is that like because obviously I would like to carry, I would like to have a woman that can carry. That's just it's just weird. Like, well, I mean personally, I just like to carry the woman, right? So if the woman is probably like if, at a bigger size, the most like I would probably not like in that sense because I just want to be able to carry my woman. Dig
Yeah,
it?
but
Like
don't you
that's
think
just
that's some form of looks? Like, don't you think
yeah, I
that
would
still
say
brings it back to saying
definitely
physical attractiveness is kind of still important, even alongside
yeah.
all
It's
those?
still for sure. It's still very important for sure. It's still, but it's just that it's those other things that come first for me, like than what the person really like how fine the person is, right?
Mm.
Because to be so I'll say that naturally, right? I don't know if it just happens, but the certain type of ladies that I go for, like in terms of how the like their body is, and it's not like oh, like it's just like that's just how like that's what okay I'll say like to your point that's a physically that's what I'll say I'm attracted to, right? So those kind of ladies, like the certain look that they have, they are not like on the very very big side. They're usually like very sometimes petite, they just come in that shape basically, and that's just how they are. So I would say for to that point, yeah, for sure, because I'll say like the first time I look at the person, I see that picture of oh, I imagine myself carrying this person, right? And so that for me like is already okay, physical attraction, the person ticks that box. So I'll say definitely that one happens like even without me even thinking about it, to be honest. So, but then the other things now like come into play for sure. Yeah.
So I 100% also agree with the fact that it is important for you to be attracted to your partner. I
Mm.
think it should be in, I think it's a, so I think what you're attracted to is now like what you would argue about. In terms of
Mm-hmm.
beauty is relative. Even like
Yeah.
the beauty standard is something that has always changed. Like this generation will say this is the beauty standard, another generation would
Yeah.
call it this. So like it is constantly changing. So I would just say
Yeah.
that like as as a man, don't so it is very important. I think it's also like it's something that you should not downplay. Don't spiritualize also being attached to your partner. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, um, I'll use my spiritual eyes to look at her if I can't, if I don't like her, it is physical. It's it is important you see your woman and you see that oh, this is a very attractive woman because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it causes like problems in the relationship in terms of then you are subjecting your partner to unwarranted comparison. Oh, can't you see how this woman is carrying herself? Can't you? Things like that are things that could have easily been avoided if you told yourself the truth. I am not attracted to this person. Don't expect a magic to happen and all of a sudden you're attracted to the person. My personal opinion, you should see your partner and you should see that your partner as someone that you're attracted to.
Mm, for sure.
Mm.
And it doesn't downplay any of our other parts. Yes. It's kind of like
Mm,
you can have it all. Yes. Like the
mm.
only thing is that beauty is relative. Like what is
Yeah,
beautiful
for
for this
sure.
person. And that's why we come in different shapes and sizes and different forms. Yes. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's we all have our own partner out there.
Mm.
Yep, for sure.
Man will find me faster.
For sure. Mm,
Yeah.
And so as you look at this stage of what your, for lack of a better word, list is of what would be important to you in a mate, what are some of those things and how is that different than the 25-year-old version of you?
Okay. I think at 25, I just need him to be tall and fine.
Fine. We need you to be fine.
Fine, like please. And I think
I need your thigh to be bigger than my thigh.
This
No,
is
please.
this is uncomfortable for a man
I
sitting here
understand.
listening to
Sometimes
But
this.
it's important.
It's what happens. It's what happens.
Yeah.
And then I think in my 30s, I'm like, man, I want someone who's kind.
Correct.
Like, for real.
For real.
Like, just be kind. And I didn't.
I mean, you could be fine too.
Yes. No, please.
Yes.
Don't get upset.
That'll help
Please
you be
let me know.
kind.
This is not an either
No,
or
it's not an
situation.
either or.
That's gonna help
It's like
with the
in
kind.
addition to those two things, I would also like you to be kind. And I think in my 20s, I didn't realize how like important that is. And someone who's considerate and present. Because when I think about my current life, I'm like, I want to be checked on.
Yeah.
I want somebody to say, hey, how are you? You need anything? And vice versa. But I think like the older I get, I'm going, this is something I didn't think about in my 20s that I think is a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
And so I think that is really important. Someone who doesn't take themselves too serious. And because I'm in my mid 30s, I would like him to be established in something. You know, like to have a plan. Maybe not
some vision.
Some vision.
Drastically.
Because I
direction.
also lead my life right now, and I want to be able to feel comfortable and safe enough to entrust that you got us.
That's so good.
And I don't, because I don't want to lead at home.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I admire about my parents is my mom, for as long as I can remember, has always been a boss at work. But at home, like my dad is the boss.
That's awesome.
And she always felt safe enough to trust him to lead. And my parents are best friends.
Yeah.
They could be having what they would call intense fellowship, and 2 seconds later, they laughing. And so I think I admire that their deep friendship.
Yeah.
They good with just each other.
The reason why this is so important, I know you said you're uncomfortable, it's kind of funny, but the reason why this is important, like even for you to hear other young men that are watching this podcast, is because what a young lady is interested in at 25 is different than what she is at 35. And as y'all, like if you met somebody at 25 or 26, both of you have what you think are the important things on your mind when you marry each other. But as y'all both grow and develop and life happens, you're like, oh, I should have thought about somebody being kind. And I'm going to tell you something. When you said kind, considerate, and there was something started with a P was the third thing you said.
No peas.
Wait a minute. Kind, considerate, and then you said something
Present.
else.
I said present.
That's what you said. I smiled when you said all three of these because God was gracious to me in the sense that I don't think that I would have listed those three when I was 24 and got married. I met Jerry at 23, got married 24. Those three things have been the most important things in our 27 years of marriage. And I've been so grateful because he fine. Now, let me tell you something. Jerry's shy. Fine.
said,
I'm
let's
sorry.
be clear.
Talking about your daddy. He's big and chocolatey and fine. I love it. Tall, thighs bigger than mine. Grateful. He is also the kind of guy that when they were little, and I would wake up in the morning, I'd wake up before everybody, and I'd want to sit in front of the fireplace. We had this little couch in front of this little fireplace. I would wake up and go out there, and the fireplace was already on because he knew I was going to want to sit right there and just have a little devotional time before the kids got up, and I had a short window. I will never forget the realization of how much weight it carried that I was married to somebody who thought about me.
Yes.
And was kind and considerate. Jerry's the kind of guy that he is going to back my car into a parking space so that it is easier for me to pull out of that parking space. This is how he thinks. You know how your dad is always thinking about the end before the beginning? It matters. And I don't think at 24, sometimes at 21, 22, 23, you want them to just be fine.
Yeah.
But you do need to be thinking about, are they considerate? Are they present? Do they have the kind of, we actually had I think the podcast that came out recently was on relationships. you mentioned your parents being jokey and playful because you grew up in a household like that. That will be important for you, that the person you married, they have a playful edge, that your household is filled with the jovialness that you described of your parents. Sometimes you don't realize that until you get into the marriage and you're like, oh, you don't laugh at enough. You don't play.
You don't play. You don't play because I play a lot. You don't play at all, right? It's I think because I think that is what I enjoy when I'm not being Brenda.
Yeah.
Right?
Playfulness.
It's like I just enjoy being able to be myself. I'm gonna laugh loud. I'm gonna cackle.
Good.
You know, like at good things. So I'm thinking like when I think about who I have to go home to or be at home with, those things would be important. Like I don't want to be in my house feeling like I can't move. Yeah. You know, and I think someone who's like uptight or really serious and like you could have discipline because I lack that.
Of course.
So somebody needs to be disciplined.
Correct.
And so I think like that in that sense, but like, I want to enjoy life because I've enjoyed it up to this point. So to then be married and lose that is going to be sad.
I think the lesson to come out of this little capsule conversation we've had on relationships is that maybe somebody in their 20s, as they're making their quote unquote list, whether in their mind or on paper, should probably ask somebody in their 30s or someone who's already married. Yeah. What actually ended up being most important? What do you think you should have thought of? Let me filter that into what I'm praying for right now. Yep. That's what I've gotten out of that. What else do we need to ask, Brenda?
Relationship setting right there.
No, I hope you got. Did you?
So can I just go back to that
quote unquote list, whether in their mind or on paper? Should probably ask somebody in their 30s or someone who's already married. Yeah. What actually ended up being most important? What do you think you should have thought of? Let me filter that into what I'm praying for right now. Yep. That's what I've gotten out of that. What else do we need to ask, Brenda?
Relationship setting right there.
No, I hope you got. Did you listen? No, I was listening. I hope you was listening to Aunt Brenda had a word for you.
But the presence part, like, how do you know? How can you tell somebody that would be present before you even commit to them? I guess you can't really find out, right?
I think you'll see the yes.
Sorry?
Allow you to go.
No, you can go ahead.
I think being present, yes, is not a marriage thing. Yes, it's something that you would see even in the relationship, yes. It's basically being available. Yes, and you are saying, how would you know if like this person will be present in the marriage? You would have seen the signs from the relationship, from the friendship, how intentional they are of like the relationship.
Present in marriage. What is this? Everybody they guard themselves until the other person does something. No.
What do you
just know you shouldn't.
I said these days, like folks are guarding themselves until they know that they will not see finish before they'll be present. The way it looks, I'm just saying the widespread stuff's going on out there.
Are people really guarding themselves though?
I feel so.
That's interesting. Yeah, Larry, we see go.
Me, I don't see it as people guarding themselves. So I think this is what it is. So when we were younger, it was easy to just date, right? Now, the age we are in, everybody knows what they want. Nobody has time to do all those time wasting or this thing. So it might look like people are guarded and all of that, but I think it's just people knowing what they want and not having time to waste time for what they don't want. Because now even the conversations you're having with people now, they are different from what you used to have then. Because then we felt like we had time to play and but these days everybody is serious. Anything that looks like a red flag or something like somebody has left, nobody has time to, so it can come off
like
as
a red flag.
it can come off as people are guarding themselves. But I just think that people like at this stage and at this age, I feel like almost everybody knows what they want and what they don't want. So nobody really has time to, because of past experiences, you already know once it's moving like this, it's beginning to look like something that I know. So I'll just, that's what me I think it is. Sha.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. That makes sense too. Hmm.
I know,
God,
it's
consider it
terrible.
present. Make sure I turn on fireplaces for my wife. Hallelujah. Okay. Um. So.
Hey, wait. I'm sorry. I
Okay,
know we
my
need to
bad. No,
move
go
on.
ahead. No, we good.
You were this one right here. All my sons actually, they're incredibly focused on their physicality. They're all athletes. JC, now that he's finished with school, he still works out
Everybody
every day.
knows
Like
what
it's
they
important to
want.
him. His
Yeah.
eating is important.
Sure.
All the boys, they're like
Well,
protein, all that.
I mean, it's not a bad
But
thing.
in
Don't
our
get me wrong.
conversation,
Like, I'm also on the same boat with what you said, Larry. Um, but there's so what if we as like the people in the dating pool are hyper fixated on what they want and also not really thinking about what they can do in the relationship? I had okay, let me tell you. So yesterday I had a call with someone, the lady I was talking to. Um, I was asking her questions that nothing yet in the realm of relationship, but just getting to know each other. And I did ask a good amount of questions, but we've been talking for some time. Now, there's something she told me. She told me that this is the first time, like I'm the first person that's making her to realize something that she typically has hyper fixated on what she wants in a relationship. But she has not, like some questions I asked her, is making her to really think about what she should give as someone that's supposed to be a partner. That's what she said. And this was some of the questions I did were from some of the books I finished in the last couple of months, last 2, 3 months. One of them was questions to ask before you engage somebody. It's a Christian book. I can't remember the author. So um, I also think like sometimes do we really all just think about what we want, or are we also willing to put in the effort to see how we can meet the other person or like create a healthy, marriage? Do you get what I'm trying to say, Larry?
I'm not sure, but I think I understand
I
what
don't know
you're
if
trying to
Toby
say.
also is
I
getting
think
it.
I understand what you're trying to say, but I
Mm,
might be wrong too. But my own answer to that is, in a way, I feel like if I know one, when I say you know what you want,
mm,
I don't know how the universe does it, but
mm.
you always meet people that maybe not want the exact thing that you want, but what you guys want is similar. So that's
Uh,
where the whole alignment now comes in. So if I know that me and this person, we have the same outlook on what marriage should be and what it should not be,
mm,
there's a way it feels like the other things can be worked on if the basics are already there. There's no two persons
Mm.
that has the same dream and the same vision. But I just
Mm.
feel like if the
the
basics are,
core
what are the basics?
values.
Both of us will believe in exactly the core values. Those things are already there.
I want to
The
hear
rest
what
of
you
the
think and
things,
what Toby and Yinka like says as those core
yeah.
parts for what marriage should be. I want to hear what all three of you answers are.
Well,
But
my own
let me
is
hear you
just
first.
back to the same thing that we mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's really that Yinka even puts it perfectly for me. The foundation just has to be Christ. Like definitely for you, your foundation has to be Christ, then my foundation has to be Christ. If our
Mm,
foundations are that, and then if I feel like I'm physically attracted to you, you're attracted to me too. And then like for me that I said how you react to your anger, your temperament is very, very important for me. If those basic things are there, I feel like the rest of the things can be worked on because at the end of the day, you're letting somebody in, you're letting you into, so you're going to learn what they like, you're going to learn what you like. So it's
mm,
just as long as those core things are not compromised on, I think like the rest of the things can be, at least that's how I feel. Sha.
mm. Okay, I see. What about you, Toby?
Yeah, what was the question again?
Like core value, like what do you want to say as the core things
It's
before
saying
you
like why
marry
people
somebody?
are Okay, before that, you were saying why are people so fixated on what they want rather than what they can do, like for the relationship or something like that. So that's why me and I said that if the core values is the same, then a lot of those things can be worked on. So that's what I was asking. Okay, so what are those things that we say are the core values?
Hmm. I think I think I'll see the same thing that Larry has said. Like it's if those things are as long as the person, we have the similar picture of like what a family looks like, and I mean we've already both established that this is going to be a serious thing, no games, that kind of thing. And then just just really the faith part. I think the faith part is like the most important one. The family dynamics, for me, also important. Conflicts, like how they like to fight, and like how they are during conflicts. Um, you know, and so like if those things are there, I'm okay. I feel like we can get through anything, right? Like, because obviously there'll be challenges, but I feel like if those things are there, we should be able to manage and navigate any form of raw food, basically. Yeah.
Um, so I think I
This one?
would,
Okay.
yeah, I kind of like to echo what everyone has said, yes.
Mm.
And I would just say this is very similar to like what we spoke about in terms of how do you
Yeah.
pick your partner, yes.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, marriage is some sort of marathon. It is not a sprint. So all the things that you use as foundation, all the things that all your checklists, when you are dating, all the things you use to pick this person as your partner, marriage is where
Mm,
all these things will start to play out. So when you overlook crucial things, is in marriage you start to see those crucial things you overlooked, yes, play out. So that's why it is important to ensure that like you
mm,
you focus on the actual core things that would help your marriage grow, yes. And as we stated
mm-hmm,
earlier, ensuring the foundation is Christ. Because in Christ, yes, there are a lot of fruits that you would see from there. You would see someone that is submitting to God every day. You see someone that is genuinely working, navigating their way with Christ, yes. And then you see that play out in your marriage. You would see if you marry a woman that is wise, yes, you see that wisdom play out in your marriage. If you marry
mm-hmm,
a woman that if you part of your benchmark is that this woman must be understanding, you will see that
mm,
understanding play out. Yes, if you marry a woman that
mm,
is your helpmate, you will in your day-to-day after marriage, you will see your helpmate actually help you. So
mm,
when you ensure that like all the core values you use to like pick your wife is good enough, is sound, yes. In marriage, even when all the flaws, when people are making mistakes, those things would, your foundation, everything that you use to like make that decision would be able to carry you through it because you basically didn't just choose based off looks. Because when this person is annoying you all of the person is not as beautiful as you thought anymore. But like when they're like solid things that are in place to help you make the decision, it shouldn't be that way. So just have a solid benchmark basically.
mm. Can I just even say that, I'm very, very proud that I'm very proud of us that actually, um, to like knowing how all of us were like days of backward and seeing how that we are now, like mindset change, like is very, very, very like it's just beautiful to watch. Honestly, let me just say that one because it's just even. even Larry said, like, when me and Larry spoke, like, about all this pit stuff, like, maybe, is it one about over a year ago now?
Mm-hmm.
And now, it just feels like we've become completely different human beings from that time, you know. But it's just beautiful to watch. Even Uchi to the same time, I think it's even for Uchi too. Like, there's certain things I see even told him recently. I was like, you that there's just certain things that I've seen in you, like that is just different. Like it just feels like you're just not the same person anymore. Like I was saying, like there's just improvement. And it's also, if you think about it, it's not far from because of work, like working with God. Like, I mean, this coincidence is not a coincidence, right? But it's just very impressive to see that, we all want like women that are in the faith, that are following God. And I also feel like even like a woman following God would actually be like, if it's like that's the person that God has led you to, like I'm saying, and she's following Christ, right? I feel like like she would come with wisdom naturally, because it just makes sense that whoever God he has been cooking or is cooking, right? They are just going to be wise, at least to that man. Like they'll be a useful weapon to that particular man. So it's also like a no-brainer. Like they would come with, wisdom in store, that kind of thing. So, but man, it's just interesting to see how we're just very different human beings from how we were before. Basically, just very very different.
Yeah, let's finish this pod.
Yeah, yeah.
12
It's one
minutes.
of the things I've noticed about you is you've recognized that you have a high capacity to care about that, a lower capacity to care about emotional IQ. Like
Sure.
he's not a very empathetic person.
Nah.
JC's like a get over it and move on kind of person. So I've said to him, that's not going to work in marriage, right? Because you're going to have to listen, feel, care about the process, not just let's fix that.
Yeah.
Okay. So my
Ooh.
point is,
No, it's so real.
Brenda, hold on, let me say
No,
this. He picked up a
but
book recently called The Art of Empathy. Okay.
I had to learn.
My point is the fact that he said, okay, I recognize I'm going to need to raise
mm-hmm.
this bar.
You see, guy, like Ishi, I swear this is a practical thing I was trying to explain. Like, if the woman, like, that question we are having when we discussing, is it sometime last week, that what if the woman doesn't have a present family, right? And it's important to us. How do we navigate that kind of situation? Like, this is a practical this thing where the woman has identified that this thing is a challenge that it no go work for her. And she knows that if care is not taken, it will happen to her too.
Mm.
And then she has seen it, but now she's now making maybe she hasn't even figured out how to even take the step. Like, let's say this guy, he don't carry book now. He wants to start to be rich, right? She's just like, maybe she's doing research. How do I, get overcome? Like, how do I manage this thing that, she's maybe seeking counsel about it and stuff. Like, you have seen the person trying to, do you understand? It means that the person is somebody that they're able to be accountable. They can find it. They can seek solution. They are able to, just take inventory for like what they do. And I feel like those kind of people make some of the greatest. Like this guy now, even though he says get empathy, but at least they are started to get on that journey of like, oh, okay, how do I learn this thing? How do I, that
Bar
kind of,
up.
and I feel like those kind of people are like one of the amazing people to work with. People that are aware, and then you're actually now looking for solutions on how to, manage that problem, basically.
And I watched him get that book and decide, I'm going to read this book. I thought, you know what, this is going to be a good husband one day.
For sure.
Because it's not that you have to be perfect and have it all figured out.
Yeah.
It's that you say, this is the thing that's not going to serve my wife well. Let me try to cultivate that part of my life. Somebody could have the opposite, where they're all empathetic and sweet, but they have no discipline about their physical body. And they need to do the opposite, where they're like, let me get it together so that I can be a blessing to my spouse. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, I appreciate that about you, that you're like, let me cultivate
Yes.
this.
No, I agree. Because there are grown men who won't do that. They won't, they like, no, this is who I am.
Wait,
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
accept it.
Yeah,
And it is.
Sorry?
No, I was asking if you asked if I don't know, like my listening was low. having trouble hearing. I was asking if you're asking me something.
No, I was speaking on that scenario
Mm.
we both painted last week about how that if the woman doesn't have a present authority in her life, and
Oh,
so how do we like how do we handle that kind of situation?
like a
Like
father
from
or
what we're
something, right?
dating. Yeah, like a father figure, or
Yeah,
you
but
know, those kind of things.
but she's very close to God, but she doesn't. But the parents had the split when she was younger.
Mm, mm-hmm.
I don't know if Titan can
So it
answer
just
that. I was also like questioning too as well. Like you're saying the person has the attributes to like in terms of strong Christian values, but person didn't have a father figure growing up. So, but I don't know if
So are you saying if when someone does not have a father figure growing up, if it is a red flag,
yes, but the
is that like the
person
question?
has yeah, but the person and you can see like person has strong Christian values, like
Yeah,
at the
so
moment.
the person has strong Christian values, but the person did not have like a father figure growing up.
Yes, but the person
Um,
prioritizes that walk with God, but do not have a father figure. Yeah, exactly.
so the question would be, in as much as the role of the father and mother is very important in the unit of the family,
Hmm.
if there is someone that is already in Christ that did not have like the father figure growing up, the question I'll first ask is this a problem now in the relationship? Are there issues with the fact that this person did not have that father figure growing up? Because in as much as people don't have fathers, sometimes there are people that like step up, like step into that space. Sometimes it can be the person had like an uncle. It could be a brother. It could even be
Mm,
someone from church. So I'm saying that to say that is
mm,
not enough reason not to be with someone.
mm,
If if the lady, if for example, it is someone that we could actually see clearly that because one parent was missing, yes, there are loopholes that needs to be filled. Then that's where like things like therapy and also like things like therapy comes into play. Yes, like people working on themselves. But if the person is just, oh, this person did not have a father figure, um, f- God is the father of us all, and we could make an argument for, um, we could make an argument for people that probably were even orphans. They did not have father, they did not have mother. Yes, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean it doesn't it can make or break someone, definitely, but it doesn't mean you can't find a partner in that person. It's not a red flag to like, or beware of ladies that are this way, or beware of men that are this way, because we could also say what happens to men that do not have like father figures or
Yeah, but
mother
Yinka,
figures.
I think
mm,
maybe they are not putting it. I think what they are trying to say is,
Yeah,
this when they say that marry somebody that has somebody that can talk to them.
yeah.
Like when it looks like it's something serious and then you people are not listening to each other, then maybe like
Hmm.
an external figure that can. So I don't know if it's necessarily father figure that they're trying to say. They're
Oh,
just trying to say
so
somebody that can like talk to the person.
that put things into perspective. It's important to like,
Mm,
so and I think to marry someone that people can talk to. There are people that like, oh, that this person can be accountable to. Because
Mm-hmm.
people also even advise that, like in marriage, yes, like young couples, they have like older couples they can be accountable to, yes.
Mm.
Uh, Different people, different things. Some men would have mentors that, like, oh, the wife can go to that, or is doing ABC. Some people is like, oh, you could go to his parents because they created the kind of environments where you know they will genuinely like put their child in check, yes. But like people tend to like avoid the whole family thing because it could also bring about family drama, yes. So that's
Yeah.
why it's usually advisable to have like when you're even going into the marriage and all that, if you do marriage counseling, most times they'll tell you, oh, there's a need for both of you to have like mentors. So it's not a father issue. It's not whether like you had a present father, because there are people that have fathers that can't listen, like don't listen to their fathers. Don't listen to their mothers. Yes. So it's not a father or mother thing. It's more about having people that like you could actually listen to. And I think it still goes down to like my core principles. If you are totally submitted to God, you are a Christian, and you actually understand what submission is, you shouldn't be someone that can't change, that they can't talk to. Because submission is basically that. Submitting to Christ is basically that. Saying, Lord, your will, not my will. So if you say you are headstrong, your way is the only way, then maybe you are not fully in submission. You are still doing your will. So if it is a lady, if I see that nobody can talk to you, it's already showing me that maybe you actually don't submit to anybody. Like, and if it's the man, so if nobody can talk to you, like there's fire on your head, then I would question your submission. You might actually, and the thing is that you might genuinely
Fire
think
your
you are in
head.
submission. You know, you can genuinely think you're in submission and you are not.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's not that like you're even faking it. You genuinely think you're in submission to God, yes, but you are not. And everybody can see it but you. And when they talk to you about it, you don't listen.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it still boils down to like when you see things like that, you see that this person needs submission. It is not your responsibility to force someone into submission, because then it becomes a problem, then it becomes toxic. Just keep it moving. Pray for, like, you could pray from afar, yes, for someone to like get better and all that. You don't have to like pray for the person within like you don't have to miracle yourself into making the person the perfect partner.
Mm. No, I don't think you should even try to do that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah. I hope that kind of like makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think so.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's like, because there are some women who will find that attractive, like that direct, like, you know what I'm saying,
It is
until
what
it's
it is.
directed at them.
Correct.
And then it's like, hold on, I need you to care
I
right
need
now.
you to care.
Right? I need you
Yeah,
to care.
right.
So like
Yeah.
finding
No, it's
balance
so
in that, but the
interesting,
fact that
like,
you're like, okay,
when
I need to learn how
it's
to, because
interesting the things that we hear and we carry it as whole truths, like as whole truths, but never really questions the why behind it. But I think the way Titan explains it makes a lot of sense now. If the person has a community or someone in her life that is that positive influence, that could also usurp the role that she missed as a father.
That makes sense.
it's just your natural bent. Because I could also be like that. Like, get over it. Why
Yeah.
we cry about it?
Yeah, don't
But
do
then,
it.
like, I think that's a good skill set.
Maybe
And
that's
like,
a
okay,
good
here is where
discussion.
I can lack. So how do I learn to kind of balance or offset that? So I think kudos to you for sure. That's great.
Appreciate it. I don't know how this got spun on me.
Now, I was
Uche, you say
talking
something?
about the video.
Yeah. Which one?
Okay, well, we're completely done with it.
No, we're not done
Which
yet.
one?
We have like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, almost done.
Back to Miss Brenda.
Yeah. What did we
No, I
need to
was
ask
saying
her
if I
before we let her
No,
roll up out
Yeah,
of
no,
here?
I last
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay.
thing I want to talk about your book, but the principle of your book about like radical obedience. Like that is like when I heard
Are you
you
sure?
said, I was like, wait a minute. I need to ask about this.
Everybody get this book. You
Yeah.
need to read this book.
Seriously. Because there was two things that you've said in either our conversation beforehand or in the podcast where it was like you went from like TV production stuff to like ministry, or you going from, you were in LA before this to Dallas, and both the answers were like, "Did tell God yes." So like you got to a point where you can trust God enough to just be like, yeah. But like most people, I feel like it's hard even for me to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna just do that even though it does not make sense. Like when it comes to radical obedience in your life, how did you develop the okayness to be like, yeah, I got you. I'm a rock with it. Is it still hard for you? Like, like talking about that whole situation.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say I've mastered it. I think to answer the first question, I think I got there by experiencing the fruit of not doing the thing God said do. And I think that scared me enough to say, actually, I'm more afraid of having to live outside the will of God than I am to just take a step towards the unknown. And so I was 27 and I felt like the call of God was like getting heavy and I was like, oh no, God, I'm out of here. Can't do this. And I felt like he told me to move to LA. And I was like, nah, I can't leave. I don't want to. It's been too long. Like I have nothing. And then I experienced I would say one of the most devastating seasons of my life. And I always have to sit and go, what if I would have just left when God told me to?
Oh, wow.
And maybe I wouldn't have had to endure that hard thing because I have to hold, there was a level of protection had I just followed the Lord. And so I think every time God asks me to do something, I sit with, I never want to live that season of my life again. And so it's like, that scares me more than just following God into what I don't know. And I've never followed God into something and it left me out there.
It might have been uncomfortable.
Very much uncomfortable. But never in a way that I didn't feel like God just told me to do something and left me hanging.
Right.
I feel like even when I don't make the decisions, he's always present and always shows up. But I feel like I've always seen the fruit of that decision. So yes, it could be hard. It could be uncomfortable. It could be chaotic. But there is this sense of peace in knowing that God's going to direct the steps or he's going to work the thing out. So I'll use moving to Dallas as an example. The beginning of December, I felt like God's like, it's Dallas. I'm like, okay, I gave my 30-day notice in my apartment. I had no apartment in Dallas. So I'm just like, okay.
All right.
Let's try this. Okay, we get to the end of the month. I still do not have an apartment in Dallas. I'm like, so I'm going home. I'm going home to live with my parents. That's what's going to happen. And so I fly to go minister somewhere in New Orleans. Now my parents are calling what's the plan? Because now you're homeless.
Right.
What are you going to do? And I'm like, I just believe that God's going to, somebody's going to give me a place to stay. Now, I don't really know that. I'll just be like, this sounds like the best thing to say right now because it's all I got. It's all I got.
But you know what, Brenda, before you move on, that begs the question. For somebody that's going, how did you know God said that then?
Exactly.
When you say God told me and 30 days out, I didn't have this and I didn't have that, how would you describe to them the knowing that I was doing the right thing despite all the loose ends at the end of the...
I love that question. I think I would have to say it was the sense of peace that I had despite everything around me saying the opposite of what I was leaning into. Sure. Because it did feel like that. It was like, there's no way, I missed it. And I did have a ticket to go home. I had if this don't work out,
backup plan.
I had a backup plan because it really did. Everything was aligning that it was God, but then on the inside, I'll say, on the outside, nothing was coming together. Right. It seemed like
did you have mentor, people around you that were in agreement with this decision?
For sure.
Okay, so yes. It wasn't just I feel
no,
good
it
about
wasn't
it.
just no. Okay. And I had it was I had so many conversations leading up to. Sensing that it was Dallas because I actually didn't want to live in Dallas. So it wasn't even something I would have dreamed up on my own. Right. I'm Atlanta. It's definitely Atlanta is where I'm going. And so I think that's a good point that you brought up. It's I'm always okay, here's what I think the Lord is saying. And then I'm taking it to my mentor. Good. I'm taking it to my parents. And I'm saying, here's what I sense the Lord is saying. Does this also agree with you? Right. Mm-hmm. And if they're slow to come to that, I'm going, God, could you show them what you showed me? Mm-hmm. Even before I take a step, because I do need some level of confirmation. Yeah. I'm never, in all of the journeys I've taken, it's never by myself. Mm-hmm. Even if God's teaching me how to trust his voice for myself, I'm still going, okay, I'm settled in this. Now, could you give me confirmation? Yeah.
So glad you said that's important. That's why I wanted you to sit there for just a second. That's important.
No, for sure. Because, and I do remember this entire process, I journeyed with my mentor. I'm okay, I think the Lord's saying Dallas, here's what I'm going to do. And then I would take different steps. The instruction I got from the Lord was to go. Mm-hmm. And I think that is where the tension started to sit because I was gonna go, but I was also trying to figure out. And that was never the instruction.
Yeah.
It was just to go. And so when my parents are like, okay, what's the plan? I'm like, I don't really got one. I'm gonna just go visit Dallas. I was just coming for New Year's Eve. And I just say, you know, like, I just believe someone's gonna give me a place to stay.
Oh, true. Titan, what
Kind of like
like
Abraham
events
in Genesis 12.
It's really what was
that you didn't know before when you were not married?
What did I what?
Is there anything that you've learned like since you are married that you can share that you didn't like know before you got married? Was there anything new?
Um, I think I think the most important lesson about like marriage is a mirror. Um, it kind of like amplifies, it brings to light all of your flaws. And I think that's one thing that like I've learned so far. That's even when I thought I was like ready, yes, I thought like I had a lot of things figured out mentally, yes. I thought I had worked on myself and I'm in a good position, yes. What marriage taught me was more, what my marriage is teaching me is that there's more to do. There's more work to be done. And the only way I could do it is to show up every day, try to be better every day, try to find
Mm,
moments to like sit back and also like retrace my steps and try to outdo what I've done, try to be a better person. So it's not about like, oh, I am the perfect one in this marriage. It's more about how can I be better? How can we be better? How can we ensure our family is in a good position? Not just
mm,
financially, but morally, in everything we do, how can we just be better people in general? So it's kind of like there's no amount of preparation you will do. As soon as you get into marriage, it's kind of like you are starting again. Now you have to like work on yourself again. You have to like you have to work on the person you spent years building and create room for another individual to also shine and be the best version of themselves without you trying to diminish their life. Yeah. So that's why you see some women who marry and you say, oh, they are glowing, they have peace of mind, they are succeeding, they are doing bigger things that they could even do before. Some men are like starting to make bigger moves and all that because people are basically watering yourself here. So one thing about marriage that I've learned is that the work is never done. You show up every day.
mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Mm.
But do you think that anybody can actually be fully ready before they get into it?
No. And I don't even believe in the idea of like
Being
trying
ready,
to be
right?
perfect, being or like have the right amount of money, have the right like you should be in a good space generally in all things. Be in a
Mm-hmm.
good space, but you can't be like you can't be perfect
Mhm.
in that sense, yes. Because if you speak to people that have been married for 50 years, they'll still tell you the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or
True.
like
True.
marriage, we are still learning about ourselves. There's still something this man does that annoys me. You can't be perfect for anyone. But the only thing is that you are like just ensure you are putting your best foot forward. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you are not ready at all, you would know. Yeah. So when you are not ready at all, when it's like, oh, I need to like still do a bit of work, you would know. But when you are in a position where you're like, okay, yes, I could actually marriage can work. I'm not perfect, yes, but I'm a more reasonable human being now. Like
Mm-hmm.
they talk to me, I listen. I don't have small anger issues here that I can be violent to someone and all that. You understand? Like the all the checks are in place, yes. There you could go into it. The money does not need to be 100% right. You just have to have something that like people can build on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why you will also find women that would marry you for your ideas, yes. There are women that will marry you for your ideas and not for like how much you have in your bank account at the moment. Because they can see the fruits, they can see that like the pattern of your life I can quietly see. You might not have it all figured out now, but I could see the discipline that, okay, yes, yeah, headed somewhere. Yes, you have positioned your life in a way that we could see that, like, if some of us combine our resources, we could actually make ourselves better off.
Hmm.
Yeah, makes sense. Mm. Um, what was I even going to say to? Yeah, this has anybody watched War Room?
What, sorry?
War Room, War Room.
No, I don't watch one.
Yeah,
Mm. Oh, you've watched it?
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. You know, this lady, she was
Oh,
the
sorry, I
actress
just
in.
realized I was on mute.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they played it in Babcock when I was there.
Yeah, I've only watched it. I've watched it, but at that time, I think I was in a different place. So it's one of those movies I have to watch again because yeah, she, I think that's what even brought her out. So this was the War Room movie. Um, yeah, but man, this was, and you know something that dawned on me in all of this conversation is that while I was going through that list of things that I said I was looking for in a partner, I've actually not done the opposite.
What do you mean
You,
by
do you get
not
what I
on the
mean?
opposite?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what boxes, what kind of person do I need to be? Like the boxes
Oh,
that I
okay.
need to tick to serve the other person. Like, who do I want to become? Like for that other person, like what attributes, what do I want to bring to the table? Like I know them, but I just haven't like really kept them. Like the way I place those things is the same way I need to place those ones too.
yeah.
Yeah,
To,
because it's very important.
to be the head of the house is like very sacred, yes. It's a very huge responsibility that should never be downplayed. Um, it requires a lot from us as men. And when we expect, you don't just want a woman that will submit to you just for submitting sake, yes. You want to be able to like be the person and like want to be the person daily, yes, that would position your family for success. And that comes from discipline, putting certain things in place, letting go of certain things. Because as soon as you marry, it's basically a woman saying, oh, I trust you enough to like place my life in your hands.
Hmm.
That's what submission is, yes. And you need to like
Mm.
wake up every day and try to earn that trust. Try to be a better person.
Yeah, I agree. Fuck, fuck. Oh man, this was this was a blessing, man.
Hmm, I'm telling you.
This was a blessing. We're kind of like at the end of the video, so technically finished. But this
Oh,
was
you
this was a
guys,
blessing.
I didn't expect that we'll go for almost 7 hours. So me and you have been on this call for 7 hours.
Jesus, my
Mm.
God,
I mean, is it 5 hours?
Ray,
5 hours, sorry. We've been on the call for 5 hours.
what
Uh,
what the what?
the
Wow.
video was supposed to be 1 hour long, though.
Mm.
And then
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
already delved into.
this is one of those ones where we're supposed to have cut at some point and then we got do it on another day. But anyhow, God will have it, sure.
yeah,
We learn
yeah.
every day.
Oh yeah.
We learn every
My
day.
wife is like my wife was already giving me a signal that I should call it a day.
We understand.
We've tried.
Yeah. Oh, you
Nice
try,
one,
try.
nice one.
Yeah. All right, my
Um,
guys.
All right,
We
boss.
will one thing um I wanted to let me stop calling. Yeah, so there's this conversation that me and Uche we started having on one other channel like that, right? But
The
that one was just
lighthouse.
like maybe 30 minutes, yeah, the lighthouse. That was like 30 minutes. We just chit chat like about certain conversations, like specific conversations in specific scenario, that kind of thing. So me and Uche started that one already, and then from time to time, shall be inviting you guys
Yeah.
to just tap in, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just quick conversations, and that's it.
Yeah. Just give me heads up. We're expecting a
Exactly.
baby, so things are like super busy for
Mm.
us.
Yeah.
For us. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just give me up, like give me heads up.
I
Yeah,
beg
yeah, for
you,
sure.
send me
All
a
right, man.
link to
And
this.
then,
Send me a link to this video, please.
yeah,
This one that you
for
just
sure.
recorded.
And then also, I'll be sending some things in the next few weeks across to you guys, like some tests, some sample stuff. But I'm
Okay.
just waiting for some direction first. But when he drop, you gonna send at me.
Mm. No wala.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
No
just
wala.
be expectant.
No wala.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, my guys.
All right,
All right,
man.
guys.
All right.
Uche, Yinka,
Not too
Toby.
much.
Take care, you all.
Mm.
Maybe we should take care. I'll see you guys
Yeah,
later.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
For sure, for sure.